Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 271. We're missing MVG. He'll be here probably midway through the show. He'll just probably pop in right over here, I guess, next to Nate. But got a bunch of people here. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Summer Games Fest had like 80 million games, so we're going to go through those. Had Mario Strikers come out, have some thoughts on that. I did kind of separate Last of Us Part 1 because I wanted to see what our thoughts were on that ending of Summer Game Fest. Just to see. And then we do have the Xbox Game Showcase tomorrow. So I brought all of these Xbox haters together to get their thoughts on the showcase and what we could potentially see there. Let me go around here. We have Miss Click. How are we doing, Click?
Hey, hi, yeah. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have Click here. We have OJ, Player Essence, tuning in from the basement.
Yes, and my mom's basement. So like I said, and that I have a lot in common with a lot of you guys on the stream, so it's all good. I'm one of you guys now. No, I'm just joking.
Solidarity.
But good Spawncast pre-show, 400 plus people there, so it was a lot of fun. So I appreciate everybody who came out to that before the show. So it's good to be here, though, honestly. And I'm just joking, chat. Chill.
we got Evan. Changed up a little bit. I'm going to Evan. Next. Got Evan. Good to have Evan here. He actually bought a Switch. He used the Switch.
Probably the last time I'm doing it.
Okay. we have Jordan Fringe. Jordan.
Glad to be here. How's it going?
Good to have Jordan here. We got Dreamcast guy, Max.
Hello. Here to hate Xbox. Woo!
And I'm going over to Sean, RGT.
Hello.
Good to have Sean here.
Straight out of a Tony Hawk game, yeah.
And then we have Nate the Hate. Nate is here.
I am here. My neighbor is having a party, so there may be music, there may be screaming.
There's just stuff happening there all the time. I thought you were like Rhode Island. How is like all this stuff always happening in Rhode Island?
It's the summer. This is when we come to life, when we have events. And there's also the Portuguese Festa this weekend right nearby. So there's a feast and the Portuguese people are dancing and playing music and eating malasadas.
None of that happens.
Is that real?
Like Rhode Island's like hella small, so like everybody knows everybody, right? So it's like
we're not that small.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot going on around me right now.
It's just a beach.
We are the ocean state.
Yeah.
Evan, you want to start with a Discord question tonight?
Let's see. We've got someone looking to recommend some Star Wars content. I think it's just generally anything. I have no idea. He was just looking into trying to start up some games, I guess.
Oh, Fallen Order.
Are we talking
Fallen Order's really
games
good,
or movies?
I mean, apparently he's been off of Star Wars for years, and he ignored most of it when it was coming out. So I guess he's getting back into it.
Oh, you know what? I would look at it depends on, I guess, the kind of game you want. Like Knights.
The invasion
That's a
begins.
random person lighting fireworks.
That sounded like a musket.
Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, that's on basically everything now, right? So like you get the first and the second one. It's backwards compatible on the Xbox, and they actually did improvements, and it recently released the second one, or it's about to on the Switch. Yeah, I would look at Knights of the Republic if you want like a BioWare style game. Otherwise, though, Force Unleashed is really fun. It's the original story. And then you have Fallen Order, which is very good as well. Or Jedi Outcast and all of that, except Sean and Nate didn't like it, but it's still good. Classic.
Don't.
I definitely vote KOTOR. The game is fine.
You can't go wrong with KOTOR.
I like the game, but the combat bores the shit out of me.
I like the boring combat. I like that slowness.
Oh man, the KOTOR
boring
slander.
Combat. Sometimes you need some boring combat in your lives, boys and girls. Sometimes you do.
KOTOR slander. You got another one, Evan?
Someone's looking to possibly co-op Shredder's Revenge with RGT as a possible cameo tier.
Oh,
What do you think about that, man?
I mean, I'll play, but I'm not. Spawnwave ain't getting the money. Are we talking about tier money?
I'm guessing you set up a cameo thing as like a play a game with me, or
because you have a cameo.
Oh,
that's what they're asking. Like,
I don't know.
Territorial, real quick there, man.
we can figure something out.
That's a can of worms. Good luck figuring that out.
Oh man, I mean, Shredder's next week. That's gonna be fun.
Sean, you know what? You know how you do it? I do this on my channel. All you do is just like, yo, how long you want to play? An hour? Cool, bam. Just charge an hour rate. Bam, there you go.
Couple levels.
I don't have an hourly rate. About a hooker.
Make one up.
You kind of are.
Yeah. So, yeah, just be like, look,
No.
$50 an hour if I have my shirt on, $100 an hour if my shirt's off. Let's play some games.
You were just talking about how you were a business and all this, and then when you thought, I'm not really. You're a business, right?
I don't have an hourly rate though. I never sat down and thought
Well,
about
make
it.
one up, businessman.
All right, we'll figure something out.
Let's go. We're gonna go into the Xbox Showcase predictions first. I do want to mention we have a sponsor tonight, that is Factor. We're gonna talk a bit more about them midway through the show, but shout out to Factor. I have a link down below with the code that gets you $120 off. The Xbox Showcase is tomorrow. I believe it's 10 a.m. Pacific, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's supposed to be that they put out a length of time. It was like 95 minutes or something like that. So I mean, it's done. Obviously, it's ready to go. Like they're
Damn, Nate.
It's ready to
It's
go.
random people. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
so
Bro,
they
it's fine. I was walking around I was gonna tell this earlier, but now I'm gonna tell it now. I was walking around my neighborhood, and like this ratty ass car like pulls up to this house, and I'm just kind of like watching. I'm probably like, I don't know, 50 feet away, and this chick runs out of the house. And she goes, girl, Ricky just ate my ass. Look at my hair. Ricky just ate my ass. I've been missing out. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? What is this? Who does this? Who runs out of the house and says that? It was fucking weird, dude.
what?
I would
This was-
rather
this was
have that
recently?
than fireworks. Though. This was like 3 hours ago.
Oh my gosh! What? I thought this was like a story from like high school or something, like way back when you were
No,
like, all over
this
the
was
place.
this was literally
wow.
3 hours ago because I was just walking around the neighborhood and I was like, okay.
Last time. See, that's
Going
why you don't
back
go outside.
For letting us know, Sean. Appreciate it.
The Xbox Showcase, though, about 95 minutes or so is what they were saying, and since then, actually, a lot of rumors have started to come out. What do we have, Max? The Hollow Knight Silk Song was a rumor that's out there, or at least something that people are perceiving is going to happen. Which that'd be pretty big if Hollow Knight Silk Song, after this entire time we've been predicting it for directs and indie showcases, indie worlds, or it shows up in Xbox's showcase. That would be weird, and it would be Game Pass day one.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've seen going around, which I don't know if you saw, I heard that they want 4 big long gameplay demos. Apparently, there's gonna be like some trailers, long gameplay demo. I don't know. I hope this is gameplay heavy because we're gonna get Summer Games Fest, but less trailers, more gameplay. Damn it.
One of the rumors now is that Starfield is like 15 some odd minutes of the show of just them playing it. Basically,
That would be
to my
amazing.
knowledge.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
That's at least the rumor going around. So I mean, that's not surprising. I don't think.
Well, they
Like,
confirmed it. Are you talking about the time?
no, still like there's a lot of talks right now around rumors. Starfield being about 15 to 20 minutes or so of gameplay,
Jesus,
apparently
why?
being one of them. Well, I mean that's their big game they're gonna be pushing in the next 8-9 months, right? If we're thinking it's
Well,
earlier in 2023.
And that's why they called it the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, is because it's specifically like, look, this is what we've been up to. Yeah.
So that and Redfall would be shown, I assume.
I feel like this is going to have a lot of talking.
You think so? Because
I don't.
a lot of these
95
Xbox,
minutes.
but a lot of these Xbox shows have been trailer, like they've been back to back to back to back. Very. What were we saying, Click?
So yeah, sorry.
What were we saying, Click?
I was just gonna
sorry.
say, I feel like sometimes it's a mixed bag. I feel like some of their presentations there was a lot of talking, and some of them probably more recently have been less talking, just kind of program after program.
I'll tell you why I don't think there's gonna be a lot of talking in this, because they had sent out to press and media, and then a lot of it went public recently reports. A lot of the talking, like a lot of the interviews, sit downs, all these things about the future of Xbox, the streaming, game development. They actually set all that out, and I think it was everyone's job to write or talk about it. And I kind of feel like we're gonna see what's gonna be a compilation of trailers and gameplay tomorrow.
I think that would be ideal. I think at this point it's more about showing versus just speaking on things. If this is their time to like get everybody on board, like I'm excited. So
Yes.
Well, didn't they?
I just
They
don't think
also
gameplay's
said.
substantial enough.
I think they said already that there's going to be like a sequel to the showcase, that they're doing this one,
14th.
and then like 2 days later, there's like, yeah, the 14th. I think that's going to be all talking. I think that's going to be like sitting down devs. This is going to be all the trailers and gameplay.
Yeah, they said they were going to sit down, do gameplay, and have during the 14th, and have like developers talk through certain parts. And yeah, there'll probably be some interesting information that comes out of that, but it'd be stuff you sit through for a while to get that information. Whereas they need to make an impression like immediately with some of these games tomorrow. And this is another rumor that's come out. And I don't know. This one's tough. If Forza Motorsport would be 2023.
I swear to God.
That one is a little concerning. I'll admit, if that is I still think Forza's this year, but if that ends up being 2023,
then they'll literally have like nothing.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be really tough.
Hold up. I want to speak on that. People say that they'll have nothing. Are you guys expecting them to not have at least one other big first party game?
I feel like they're gonna have something, right?
Coming out this year?
Yeah, this year.
No. What could it be?
Something.
I think they're going to show a bunch of stuff, and they're going to say day one on Game Pass. I think they're going to show like Gotham Knights on Game Pass and like Saints Row on Game Pass. I don't think they have any first party. I think it's going to be a lot of very lucrative deals that are good. But I knocked my mic over.
There's got to be at least one like maybe like a AA Ori type of game, or there's like a Cuphead, or
we would have heard about it though.
Maybe they're keeping it under wraps.
They don't do that though.
Maybe like Psychonauts, something like the quality of like Psychonauts, something like that. Not quite the biggest, but like something around that level. I think they have to have at least one.
They were gonna have. I don't
mean multiplied either. I don't mean
they were gonna
like
have. They were gonna have Replaced, and unfortunately that got pushed to next year. That looked like a really.
There's got to be at least one. You can't. So the whole year if Forza gets the whole, not a single first party game.
I mean,
like big first party game. No way. I can't. There's no way.
I'm kind of thinking maybe.
There's no way.
I think it's going to depend on what people want to quantify as a big first-party game. There is still the potential that Josh Sawyer's game from Obsidian makes 2022. It's more than likely going to be early 2023, but it does exist a chance it makes it in time for this holiday. But by no means is that going to be a AAA game, and it's not going to excite a lot of people, even though it should. So that's not going to be a title that's going to save Microsoft's 2022, but it's going to be a quality game if it makes it.
Obsidian.
I like how you said Josh, like everyone, Josh Sawyer. Today's Josh Sawyer gets by on you. Space, he invades, he gets by on you.
The Sawman? Oh, man.
Most likely it's going to be, I was looking at it, most likely it's going to be Scorn. Scorn would be a game coming out this year.
Oh, there we go. That's a banger.
That's the
game that people look at and they're like, that's gross, but they're not sure if it's gross kind of thing.
I meant like new, and I mean, Scorn, we've known about that.
I see what you're saying.
Like a new, something new. And like I said, for me, it doesn't have to be super big AAA, because some of my favorite games from Xbox were not. Cuphead, one of my favorites, that was not that. Ori, one of my favorites, was not that. So I know for other people, yeah, maybe they want that, and I understand. But like Dreamcast guy said, like they're gonna have a bunch of Game Pass stuff. So AAA, maybe Game Pass, maybe they get something like Tales of Arise to come over to Game Pass, and like an older game like that came out last year to be on Game Pass. So I think that will help facilitate things. I mean, not for me, but for other people. And maybe if they have like this, like I said, just that like one big, AAA or really good, Psychonauts or Ori style game. I think that would be.
They could grab Soul Hackers 2. They could drop that into Game Pass.
Yeah, Soul Hackers. They're marketing it
on the bag.
I mean, like As Dusk Falls might still make this year.
Okay.
That's a potential thing. I mean, we haven't really seen it recently.
I feel like Forza's the one. If they have Forza there and it has 2022, I feel like people would be like, okay, there's something. Like that is a high quality simulation racing game that I would like to play, especially after Gran Turismo, to see what they have.
There was just a different game. I know they're different, but it's still.
I know you mean. It's still another. Yeah, it's their
another racing game. I mean, I would like something, maybe like a little bit different.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit different.
Well, I've been saying for a while, 2023 is Microsoft's year, and I think this show in particular is going to really like cement that, because I think a lot of the stuff they announce here is probably coming out next year for some of it. So. Yeah, that's just kind of where they are. But interestingly enough, let's say Forza doesn't come out this year and they are stuck in that predicament. Maybe they just sign third parties and they have a lot of Game Pass drops and it gets people to next year. The interesting thing is there is talk now about Kojima being at this show in some capacity. And I believe the rumor right now is that he will be there to announce his partnership, which is what Jeff Grubb's been talking about for I feel like ever now that they had signed that letter of intent, and I guess it got done.
Yeah, it's
if
been
that's
about a
the case.
year. It's the game that was originally pitched. It was originally Kojima's project for Stadia. Stadia then collapsed. Microsoft came in with a check to allow Kojima to finish the project. And to my understanding, it is Overdose, and it is an Xbox exclusive.
Is that's the trailer that was
Yes.
described? Oh, that's too bad.
That was described earlier this week. So I'm not sure if it will be there at the showcase tomorrow, but it is a real project, and to my understanding, it is an exclusive.
Okay.
Dude,
I mean, yeah.
that's big, dude. Exclusive Kojima, that's big.
Well, it's the idea is
Yeah, hell
I
yeah.
would say it is. I mean, but think about, Sean, what people are saying, like, look at Xbox as the Halo Gears Forza box, and all of a sudden Kojima shows up with just some weird thing out of left field. It's different. So
Well,
I think
hope
that's
it's a good game this time.
Whoa.
Well, looking at the Overdose leaks, you're a hater, so shut your whore mouth. But additionally, the Overdose leaks make it sound like Silent Hills. It makes it sound like it may be like a sweet, weird horror project.
Here's the interesting thing. This is supposed to be a game that needs cloud computing to exist, is the idea. Right? It's supposed to... this sounds like it'd be a showcase. It would have been a showcase for Stadia, but I guess in this case, it would be a showcase for Azure.
That's not making me very... confident. We start saying it needs cloud computing and all. Didn't they say about stuff like Crackdown?
Well, it depends on the approach.
The power of the cloud.
It depends on the approach, because I mean, they could just be putting data from everyone's game into a central point that then kind of pseudo affects your game if you're on, but if you're not, it doesn't matter.
I'm thinking flight simulator. How you're kind of mentioning this, kind of, Evan, where it pulls data from the cloud. Yeah. They mentioned it was like petabytes of data, some ridiculous amount, in order to basically draw the entire landscape almost in real time, updated really well, and that way everything you were flying around was actual like real world, reflected of the real world. So
okay,
that was interesting. I'm just curious what Kojima does with that kind of power. It's a little concerning. I mean,
to be fair, Kojima has done kind of gimmicky stuff before, and you guys suck its dick, boat Kai or whatever the fuck. I'm not going.
I'm literally playing Boktai right now. I love it.
Whatever. Yeah,
First of all, I've never sucked anything like that. Okay, and second of all, I definitely don't.
Sean's still mad about Death Stranding.
Okay, I've never done that with Boktai. I mean, I thought I'm not going outside where I live. It was always too freaking hot to be outside playing a video game, so I never liked that. I was like, dude, this game's weird.
Don't play through Death Stranding, Sean.
It's good, but it's weird.
What does Naked HD XYZ Stop Jerking Cheaper Than Tinder have to think about the story, though?
Stop Jerking is such a great name.
And then there's, so I was just browsing Twitter earlier today, minding my own business, and what do I see here but MVG making the news?
That British fool.
And Sean, of course, is in the replies, just saying all kinds of stuff. But apparently, Banjo-Kazooie coming back. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds. I saw MVG the source on this from Nate the Hate podcast. I don't know. What do we got here, Nate?
I'm a little insulted that none of the reporting included my great depiction of Banjo. I went out of my way to talk like Banjo in that segment, and nobody translated it. But yes, a Banjo project has been greenlit by Microsoft. Where and when we see it is the speculation. Could it show up this weekend? Let's hope it does. I think that would be a very exciting announcement for Microsoft and for the gaming community to see the return of Banjo. As to what the game is, that's also to be determined. It could be a remake similar to what we saw at Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, or it could be a whole new game. But a Banjo project has been greenlit. It's just a question of when and where do we see it.
That's not exciting. The only reason why I'm not too excited is I saw the podcast and I saw everything is because who's making this? That's the thing. Remember Banjo? We had Banjo Banjo Nuts and Bolts. Yeah, and that game wasn't so. Is it a remake of the original? Okay, fine. You want to remake the originals? Cool. I'm down for that. But a new game, like a new Banjo game, based on who they have right now, I don't know who would make it, but I need to see it first before I get super excited, you know? Just because I got super hyped for nuts and bolts and I got slapped with some bolts.
I agree, OJ. I'm on OJ team right there.
I wonder if Double Fine would work on that alongside of an original project.
If Double Fine does it, Psychonauts was dope. Cool, give it to them. You just give it to somebody that knows how to make it, or because like Rare, they don't even know what Everwild is right now. So I mean, like they can't decide when what genres their games are outside of Sea of Thieves, you know. So like, just give it to somebody who knows what they're doing and can make a good 3D platform.
That's the thing, is that Microsoft has essentially, they have all the IPs that aren't being actively used. Any developer can come to them with a pitch for a product. Yes. So a developer came to them with a Banjo.
Okay.
Microsoft didn't like go to a specific developer and say, hey, like if Double Fine wanted to make a pitch for Banjo, they had the opportunity to do it. And publicly, Double Fine has said repeatedly they want to do their own projects.
Yeah.
So this seems to be a non-Double Fine project.
I wonder who would pitch it then. That's interesting.
Wait, ukulele developers. Platonic, maybe?
I don't know. But they're working on, I thought they're working on another ukulele game right now.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, I didn't super love ukulele. I don't know if I'd want them to do it.
I mean, they got some more experience, maybe, you know, like, I mean, and with the right, like, for example, who's the team? Team that did Metroid Dread, Mercury's team. Their projects beforehand weren't the quality of Metroid Dread. They were good, but then once they paired up with Nintendo, they had a really good, super high quality game. So I think that maybe, ukulele wasn't as good, or maybe a different team, maybe their projects aren't as good. But then once they get with Microsoft, they can kind of get together, they get the funds that they need to make something truly incredible. So
what if?
Oh, good, Sean.
What if MVG is secretly working on it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he can't talk about stuff.
Leaks from the inside. Oh man.
Inside leak.
You know what? It'd be easier to talk about this a year from now when they own Activision Blizzard, because you can be like, oh, Toys for Bob will do it. It's like they'll take care of it. So, but now it's like, would they even be able to set that deal up ahead of them buying them? Because Activision's supposed to act independently, right? I don't know. I mean,
technically, no.
Yeah, that's like it's. I mean, I guess they could. Like, they could talk. They could have
contracted them out and knowing what's going to happen if they had no other projects being worked on under them at the time.
Right. Like, I guess they could. I don't know.
What are you expecting to hear from Banjo tomorrow? Is it like an actual trailer, or are you thinking like just like a freaking JPEG with the laugh at the end?
I'm gonna be honest. I only expect basically a JPEG with like a spinning puzzle piece and just Banjo laughing and the bird squawking and then just saying,
you don't hear from
Banjo
it from
returning.
Years.
Just a tease to say we are doing this.
Yeah.
Banjo's coming back, so you can get excited. It's going to be, another year, 2 years, but just to get some hype.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if you're Microsoft, they just delayed their 2 big releases and they might not have anything this year. You just announce everything. Just announce whatever you can. Like, just go crazy. I don't care when it is. Just start announcing stuff, because
I was gonna say they kind of do it, and people get onto them though for that though, like announcing things that are
dark.
Far out.
I mean, at this point, every company does it anyway. So it's like, go crazy, Microsoft. Who cares?
This is like the problem is that like the other companies, I guess, are releasing things. Microsoft is like not their pace isn't as fast.
Microsoft Publisher of the Year last year.
They did great. No, they did great last year. They did really good last year. They did. They had Psychonauts. They had, but I guess what people look. This is not myself particularly, but what people are asking for is stuff that's like exclusive, actual exclusive stuff as well.
All right, MVG. Now you feel the Banjo topic.
He's working on Banjo. What do you know about Banjo?
Himself is here. Let's go.
Wearing the shirt. Came prepared for all the questions.
Okay. So what's this Banjo talk? Huh? What's going on here?
It might be there tomorrow. I don't know anything else. I don't know.
Interesting.
I've heard things, but I don't know what the show's going to have tomorrow. So,
what things did you hear? What things did you hear?
I see that shirt. Is that a hint? This? Oh no! I just wore this at random today.
We were trying to figure out who would even make Banjo, MVG.
I mean, that is the $1 million question, right? If there is indeed going to be a Banjo game, who would do it? Like, I think the obvious choice would be Playtonic, but I think we've kind of ruled them out for doing a Banjo game. So I don't know, honestly, who it would be, but we'll see. I mean, look, I heard rumblings at GDC earlier this year that there was some Banjo stuff going on. I couldn't tell you if it was like a Nuts and Bolts remake or just a collection of old games or a new game. Anything more than that, I couldn't tell you.
I'm trying to line this up, like in terms of the timeline, as to when they would have decided, like, oh, this is a good idea, then start planning it. I almost wonder if it was when the reception Banjo got for Smash, if that made them look at it and go, oh, well, maybe we should do something with this, and then they set plans into motion, and I guess they finally got it greenlit.
Maybe. I mean, they're sitting on an IP that has some value, right? Like Smash was obviously very, very successful for Nintendo and for Microsoft, but it's been 3 years since we've heard anything from Banjo. So look, I'm not saying it's a thing, it's a lock or anything like that, but you know, I have heard that there is something going on with Banjo. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. I can't guarantee that it will be there, and you know, I mean, I can't win either way, because if it doesn't happen, people are going to come after me. If it does happen, I'm going to get called a leaker. Buddy. So either way, you know, whatever.
Well, okay. How about this one? GoldenEye.
No.
Yeah.
No. GoldenEye tomorrow.
No GoldenEye.
No.
There we go.
No.
What?
Nope.
I go with no for tomorrow.
Did you listen to the Nate the Hate podcast today? We said no.
Oh, no GoldenEye tomorrow?
I've been busy.
Heart
Wait,
says
what?
yes, but my gut says no.
What? Why? But all the
just going
leaks.
in looking to be disappointed.
No, I don't view the game as a big enough product for this type of presence. The anniversary is in August. They have plenty of time to actually bring it to market. Tomorrow is not the proper time for GoldenEye.
Tomorrow is the proper time for anything that would drum
right now
up
is proper time for you to shut the fuck up.
But
True
that
fault.
would actually be a good release. I mean, think about it. If they had the remastered version of it, the one that you hit a button and it goes between like the old and new style. I mean, that would be a really good release to even put in a Game Pass right away.
Well, and that was my thought or my hope was that I want some sort of shadow drop of like, hey, you guys are asking for Xbox exclusives, so here's an Xbox exclusive you never thought. It's GoldenEye. It's got online play. Go fuck each other up.
That would be cool.
We were going to play it too. We were talking about doing a Spawncast plays, all playing it, but oh well.
GoldenEye exists. I think we all agree that it absolutely exists.
I played it.
Yeah.
I have it right here on my computer.
I don't think that it's going to be at tomorrow's show. Mate and I both agreed that it's probably not going to be there tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, the timing just doesn't feel right for the project. I mean, I hope it is. It just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right, so it'll probably be there.
Could be.
If you want to take some of the teasing that the Snitch account has put on, you can look at the wording where they say, I spy with my little eye, that these leaks aren't all correct. If you want to look at I would say they were implying GoldenEye right there.
Okay.
Who's running that Snitch account, by the way?
It's Tom
snitch
Henderson.
on the snitch, Nate.
You think it's Tom Henderson?
I do.
Could be.
Tom Henderson retweets that thing like 10 times a day. It's him.
Oh, Nate, if we believe that account, then Silk Song tomorrow, Game Pass.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay. How did that end up in the Xbox presentation, not a direct?
Phil Spencer writes checks.
That's all it takes. Team Cherry was like, we're 4 people and you're handing us $10 million. Here you go.
Enjoy your Silk Song, and they just hand it over.
I'm just happy that the game is just finally something on the game, man. Let's just get that game out. It's been way too long.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. Okay. That'd be a big highlight, I think. That'd be big. That'd be big. Any other predictions though for the show tomorrow? Anything massive? I'm gonna say Halo Season 3 actually looks good, and everyone else would finally get back online and play with me again. So I log in lonely, I play the challenges, I win a lot, and then I log off.
This is the only prediction that matters. 1 versus 100 makes a comeback, revives tomorrow.
Yes.
What?
No.
I saw someone.
The amount of people who don't know what 1 versus 100 is devastating.
I played it once. Game show from back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Xbox Live game show.
You'll all play that, but you won't play Halo with me?
Oh yeah. Well, see, here's the difference. It's fun.
Damn.
Yeah, Halo's kind of skimpy on content. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like something else we're going to talk about later.
Four of us can actually get in a party and play.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 versus 100, we can play against 90 other people.
4 of us can
And then
play
only
against
one of
the
us
other
can
people.
win.
Oh, but 4 of us can't party up and play against everyone.
It's the original
You can't
Battle
do that on
Royale.
Switch either.
Can only do that on
It
Halo.
is the original
Hey,
Battle Royale.
Halo
yeah.
keeps winning. All right.
What about Gears 2?
What about? Oh, hold on. What about this Gears collection?
It's fake.
You say it, MVG.
Fake. It's not real.
I
Oh,
want Gears 2 remade next.
you know, I'll trade that in for Banjo. I'm good with that.
Damn.
You would
I'm good with
trade
that.
Gears for Banjo?
The Gears collection I would trade a Gears collection for a brand new Banjo game. I've played the
Maybe
Gears
most
games.
would.
One
I'm
of
ready
You
for
them
want a
Banjo,
Gears
the other one
collection?
doesn't.
And
No, I would take
Banjo?
Gears collection, put it on the shelf, take the brand new Banjo game, and play it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. I would
Oh.
trade if I had to. I would say, okay, Gears collection, that's fine. I want the new Banjo game. That's
yeah, because
fine.
Gears is already available. Gears is already available and like runs really good.
I played 'em all.
And great, yeah. Like I'm a Gears fan. I don't really like Banjo, and even I would take that deal.
2
I
and
want a
3
new
don't
Banjo.
have that treatment that like the first one got, where it got like that ultimate edition. Like it's still backwards compatible with 2 and 3. So I get why people would look at it and say, well, I'd like that, but new Banjo game, I'll take the new one. I'll take the new thing.
But what if it's not a new
new
thing? What if it's just a remake?
Well, I mean,
I'll
it's a
still take it.
remake
Probably
with
Gears. I'd
modern-
probably take
with
Gears
Modern visuals. I mean,
That's
Xbox
tough.
Series X level
But
visuals
they already
of a
play.
Banjo
They already
game,
play Banjo pretty well, though. Like they play well on the X.
but fur effects.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, at least this remake would make more sense than another remake we're going to talk about.
Oh, we are going to talk about that. Okay, I'm excited for the show tomorrow. Now, I'm looking for some stuff out of left field. Hollow Knight, Silksong would have been out of left field. I will say that. But hey, hopefully there's other ones. Evan, we have a Discord question over there.
If you have seen it, what are your thoughts on Bayonetta Bloody Fate? It was an anime thing, an animated feature that dropped in 2013, I believe.
I did not watch that.
I watched it.
Was it good?
It's okay. It's just rather play the games.
Did it feel like they were just dropping it to kind of piggyback on the game?
Yeah,
Rush
it was
job kind of
just-
deal?
It's not anything like special. Like let's just say like the Castlevania Netflix is like considerably better. So something like that is like much better. I mean, it's okay, but Bayonetta, the problem is that Bayonetta doesn't have quite the lore. It has lore built up, but it's not quite as good as
Right.
the
I
other
would agree.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with that movie and everything. But no, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's fun, and it's just like the game. It's like the action's really good and everything. So.
Okay. What else you got, Evan?
Do you think the stigma around adults playing video games has gotten better, or do you still get griefed as often by other adults?
Bro, I'm getting grief by kids now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I would actually agree with Click. I get that. I get more of young kids surprised I play games all day. Most adults are cool. Even old people. I'll talk to like old people that are like, "Oh, you played the video game? So Mario,
Yeah,
fuck them up."
consider what gaming companies are doing right now. That's nostalgia. They're just remaking, remastering, bringing old stuff back. It's because the adults have money and they want that money. So it's just to keep it going.
Nah, yeah, man. Like I'm online playing games. I feel like I can't even stream games sometimes. There'll be a kid in my lobby be like, get shit on, and you're just like, oh my god, you're literally like 5 years old. Who gave you the ability to freaking be playing this game right now? And why are you so good? But I think like the stigma. I feel like for the most part, like I think what's cool is, in a way, like. That now that we're older and like having families and jobs are centered around gaming too, is it's more of a lifestyle in a way where a lot of people like sports or television was a really big thing. Like gaming's kind of been like that new trend, but also you still have time to do other things. Like many people here, like we still go and be active and go to the gym, like we still love our games, but now we have a way to balance it in a way. So I would say like the stigma for people who still have it probably aren't in the realm. And that just comes from ignorance. So
video games bought me a house and a Ford Pinto.
exactly.
Suck my dick. Your opinion's invalid to me if you think I'm too old to play it.
I stopped caring about what people. You can think whatever you want. I stopped caring a long time ago.
Right. I feel like the people that call me dumb or childish are like unhappy old asses who fucking work at Walmart or whatever.
If y'all want to go to your 9-to-5 job and slave away for somebody else, be my guest.
We got another Discord question, Evan?
Why do all the games at the Summer Game Fest look the same?
that was coming up a lot. It was like
Space is the final
sci-fi horror space game number 4.
Want me to tell you the reason why? Is because a little bit ago, everyone was asking for that. So then they all said, okay, let's make it. And it all just so happened to be ready right around the same time. That's the reason why. Everyone was asking, we need Dead Space. We need a new Dead Space. Okay, let's make these sci-fi horror games. People were asking for it. Now you got it. Don't complain.
There you go.
What you're asking for.
Let's go to Mario Strikers. We'll talk about that before the sponsor spot, and then we'll get into Summer Games Fest and The Last of Us Part 1 to finish up. Let's talk about Mario Strikers. Okay, Mario Strikers Battle League is out. I picked it up. Let's see. Sean picked it up. Evan picked it up. I saw that. Let's see. We have Click. OJ.
Does anyone have to preempt with a hashtag free game or hashtag ad?
Yes. Hashtag not ad. Just for hashtag free game.
Just free game.
Okay.
Right,
There we go. Okay, don't kill us, Nintendo. And
Nintendo's like, talk about it.
Okay, cool. So those are the people that picked it up. Nate didn't. You didn't get it, did you, Nate?
No, I decided to buy the Quarry instead.
Is that one good?
Yes. If you like Until Dawn, this is really good.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay. I love
I heard
Until
there were
Dawn.
performance issues. Is it run okay?
I mean, there's some performance issues. Some of the characters, like one in particular, looks amazing, and the rest look good to great. But I mean, overall, the performance isn't enough to really detract from the experience so far.
Okay, and that you can have like multiplayer with that, right? People can like hang out and like make decisions as you go, like with you.
I think so. I haven't actually explored that element.
Oh, okay.
Couch co-op.
But the story's interesting enough so far for you.
Yeah, I like the characters. I like the setting.
That's tough because you can't really talk too much about it without spoiling like the game, like which is completely plot dependent.
Yeah, it's pretty much a solo experience in terms of having a conversation, or you have to just engage in a forum or a Reddit where you're just saying this is the chapter you're up to, and then spoilering everything else, and you can only click or engage with what you want.
Well, Until Dawn was at least interesting. Okay.
I liked it.
I loved it.
That's a $70 one, huh?
Yes.
You got it on GameFly.
I did because I had a couple of coupon codes, and they were offering you got like $15 from GameFly.
There you go.
So it only cost me like $40.
Hey, that's a GameFly game right there. I get it. Okay. Huh. I'll take another look at that
60 on
one.
PC still. So
60 on PC. Yeah, I think I saw it on the PS5 at 70. I was like, am I gonna play that right now? I don't know. Maybe. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll get Nate's impression of it when he's done.
Is the Quarry is 70
on the PS5? And
Yeah,
so I was looking at it. Yeah, I was looking at it, and I was
pick
like,
it up when it's 20.
Okay, here you go. MVG also did not get Strikers.
Nope.
Okay, and Jordan. No, Max didn't get it. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. All right, so Strikers is out. I played it. Sean and I actually played it a little bit. I was gonna invite more people, but
I didn't want to drive over to your house.
Well, I was like, let's get a bunch of people. Let's do this. Let's do all that. And I was like, wait a minute, you can't do that. So that's a big. Unfortunately, that was a big strike.
At most, 2v2, right?
At most you can do 2v2. Yeah, you can invite 4 people total, but 2 will be your opponents.
Well, we created a Spawncast club. We were gonna get everyone invited. We we're gonna do all this fun stuff. And it was like, you have 20 people in the club. I'm like, great. What we'll do is we'll get 4 people in a room and we'll all go online and we'll play against other clubs. That makes sense to me. Like, you make your team because there's 4 people on the field. You can't do that. You don't do 2 people in a room and then you have 2 CPU teammates with you. It's very weird. It's hard to even describe, and I don't think anyone was aware of this. Like, I didn't know, and I was following this game pretty closely. The reason I had concerns, Nate, do you remember when we played that test?
Yeah.
What did I say in that test while we were doing it? I was like, this isn't how the game's gonna be, right?
You had high hopes that what we were playing was just like a cut down version of the full game.
And then the game comes out, and you can ask everyone I'm talking to, I'm like, no, there's something. No, I'm missing something. I'm sitting here going through the options for like 40 minutes. I'm like, no, there's something's off. I'm missing something here. And I end up having to like tweet something out, and people are like, no. I'm still in disbelief. I'm like, no, hold on. No, something's wrong. I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, for reference for the people in the chat, the only way to get 4-player co-op, like Evan said, you have to have local, like it can be done, but they have to be on the same system. Like it has to be.
It
So
has to be
like
two systems total, 4
Yeah.
people between the systems.
and then two people go on. So the functionality was built in, but not online, which shows me to believe. And then we also got the Oatmeal Dome, what he said about how it's not using the new MPLN. So then that's when I'm thinking, okay, there was probably testing and it probably ran terrible, or there was issues with getting 8 people online all at the same time, you know, which once again, which is a knock. Obviously, Nintendo needs to upgrade, get better at that, you know, but that's probably what, because like the functionality is built in. You can have 8 people all, like it's there, but it's not online, which is huge problem for like John said, like with the clubs, because I mean, that's what I was thinking. I did a video on it today, and like, it's great. The gameplay is awesome, but that right there is definitely a knock. You know, that's a major flaw in my opinion, at least, you know, in my opinion, like with the club, especially with the club stuff, you know, like, because it gets less people. I mean, you can get 20 people in there. Okay. You got 4s, but no, it's only.
My problem is then with the
know?
clubs, I can't actually look at it as like a competitive thing now, because in my mind, I'm like, if me and Sean or me and Evan go on there or whoever, I'm like, we always have the CPUs, and
I love
CPU
watching
is
as they
so
stand there and literally do nothing all the time.
I was literally that's one of the most like rage-inducing things that I experienced while playing that game the other night. Was they just stand there? Like, it's really hard to bring things down the field, to make things move forward. And unless you do like what is it? It's like that empty shot where you cast it out without hitting it to a target. The NPC will run towards it then at that point, but it can still get intercepted. So it's really hard to make plays like that. They just stand there. They don't defense. Like you'll have an enemy like do the super strike, and the NPC will just stand right there next to them and not cancel it. Like, you have to do it yourself. So it's like, it really is frustrating, because it like when the things that work, they feel good, you know. Everything feels smooth, it looks great, but like as a competitive standpoint, I mean, it's really frustrating, especially like when you have a game like Splatoon that's about ready to come out. Like those lobbies work great, you know. They're filled. And it runs so well. That's what I don't understand, is you really would think something like Strikers related, with as high octane and competitive as it should be,
and much smaller map and space, and there's like less you need to see, and you can't even
exactly. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. So the
were
NPCs
you playing by yourself, Click, or were you playing with somebody else?
I was playing by myself, and then I was doing online matches to play against other people.
Did you ever play 2s with somebody else?
No, I wasn't doing 2s.
Okay.
I was wanting to learn the game and like master it myself. I wasn't really wanting to deal with
your frustration on that end is even heightened in single player, because you can only control one at a time. Then when you play with somebody else, you're constantly switching, so it's not as bad. But yeah, when I was playing single player, I echoed the same things that you said, like when I'm doing the cup battles, because they do just stand there unless you switch over. So if you're playing 2s, it's a little bit better because somebody else will be switching over. But yeah, single player, it's extremely frustrating.
And the trick is with the AI, I mean, you're noticing them not doing anything. I've got to the second tier of the cups, the more advanced cups. Watching the AI just freaking globetrotters run around you and do crazy shit. You know it's in the game, you know it's there, and they just turn it all the way to 0 for your teammates. So it's fantastic.
The other thing I was going to say in regard to NPC is the goalie. Like, I really feel like the
That's
goalie
Sean's favorite guy.
I feel like it's inconsistent. Like, I feel like I was landing some really like hot shots, and their goalie was just like,
he's upside down. He's
360, catching with his feet, and then like literally, I had like a buzzer at the last second. My freaking goalie just like falls over for no reason.
I got a video of it.
Yeah, and I lose at the last second, bro. I was like, I'm already tilted. I've literally been playing this game for not even an hour, and this NPC is so inconsistent. I don't know. It's just it's fun, cool. But it's not competitive. It feels very, like the items feel very RNG. I don't know how I feel about it.
You can turn those off in gameplay.
Yeah, but when we go online, you can't turn them off.
Yeah, you're kind of forced to use it in club play. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when ranked comes out, like I feel like if there's gonna do like a ranked season system, like you should be able to turn that off, and you should have a ranked with items and ranked without. I don't know.
I do feel like they built a little bit of the game around the items. Even though they are RNG.
It floats so nice, like when when like Sean and I were playing, and like he was coming up the wing, and I was running down the middle, and it was actually like, oh, he's gonna pass it to me now, and then I'm gonna shoot it up, and it goes in. That was great, and I'm like, this would be really cool if 2 other people were playing with us right now.
Yeah, pick your
like
zones
that.
to play in, so that the AI doesn't just walk over and stand right next to you, and you're just like, please go away.
Yeah. But like the issue I ran into is I would try to change to someone, and Sean would definitely try to change at the same time. I would end up on some other CPU, and he would end up there, and I'm like already twisted around. Then
that's what I was gonna ask. Are you designated to this? Like you only have 2 characters, and he only has 2 characters, or is it the same pool? So you both can try to
usually
switch?
who you pass to, unless it's the person you're playing with, it should auto swap you to them.
That would make sense, but no, I would always end up as some other. I'd start as like Toad, and then I'm all the way on the other side as like Waluigi towards the end.
So anybody can.
It's
2 people can like you can pick like each get your own pick like at the beginning of who you want to pick. So each can pick 2, but you can end up being anybody on the field at any point. Depends on just who's open. You know.
So here's the good news. Mario Tennis did have updates around their multiplayer with doubles. So I'm holding out hope that they're going to add this 4v4 mode, like, or four people in these ranked matches. Like
Mario Tennis added that.
Yeah,
shortly after
they
it's released,
updated something with doubles. Yeah, so more people could play together. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe that's gonna happen, because it's so tough for me to be like, let's jump online and then just be frustrated the whole time.
I'll buy it if they introduce doubles. I'll buy it, but I'm not buying it a day before. Honestly, I only played it. I only was going to buy it to play with y'all, and the fact that I can't, I mean, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it's tough for me to tell people to get it now, because it's like, well, okay, we'll take turns, like playing online when there's 2 open slots. I just
feel like it's tough to add things after the fact, even if it is or is not a live service. I feel like it's tough to add things after the fact when people literally are looking, which is good. You should do your research and look at reviews and people's opinion and gameplay that you trust. If they already be like, oh, this isn't for me, sometimes those features come too late to really change someone's mind. So the people who buy it and maybe are the ones that are disappointed are like, oh, like I can live with it until there's updates. Like, unless you're that lucky one, I feel like you really do miss out on the consumer. I don't know. I think it just comes with, I think I'm just missing the day where we feel like games are complete on launch.
You know what? I think we need an EA chart here. Next level needs to put one out.
Give us that roadmap.
I need to know. If this is happening. Get the suit out. I don't care.
I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
What game launched more complete in terms of multiplayer
Oh,
functionality?
no.
He's gonna say it.
Infinite.
Yeah, I knew it.
Or Strikers.
I believe Halo Infinite, when it first dropped, still had a harder time getting the big team battle teams together, right? Like you couldn't get into those.
Big team battle is 12v12.
Game one,
Halo Infinite, because like you can have the 4, but Halo Infinite didn't launch with a single player at all. Like it launched with no, like you can just do like the training mode, right?
The beta. Yeah, they called it. You're right, but they loopholed it.
Hold on, let me get a piece. I could set up a bracket and we could do it. We could do Strikers.
Like I said, I just played the training thingy. I didn't know, but like there was no like actual single. Like you couldn't play the game normally single player, right?
Right.
Let's pull up MS Paint. Let's do an MS Paint and draw like things it had. Things it's
missing. That's actually a good question, Nate. Only because technically the online is significantly more advanced in Halo Infinite. So
it wasn't working. I literally couldn't get in a big team battle with y'all.
But we were able to play 4. But here's the thing, though, Clay. You're on PC. We're on console. We're just trying to get 4 people into a party on a console in the Switch.
Yeah,
that's all we're trying to do. So I gotta go. I think it's Halo. I think Halo Infinite was more complete.
Well, okay,
it's Infinite.
I haven't really dove into like the gear and stuff. Like, how do you feel about the gear and the changes, like the customizations?
So you have to
Evan got the advanced gear.
I got one piece. You have to clear the full cup to get a 400 a piece type situation that actually changes a lot of your stats, but it's negative and positive. So the character only kind of slightly moves in certain directions while losing other things. Like the advanced gear is +4 to 1 stat, -1 to 4 stats.
So essentially the gear, it's like what you want to do with it. It's like, for example, if a character, you want to really exploit how good a character is in a singular stat. So like,
it sounds like it's for exploitation.
Like Rosalina. Rosalina's super good at shooting. So if you just max her out, maybe she's slow or whatever, she can just start bombing goals like very easily. Rosalina can with perfect shots.
Yoshi is huge for passing, but like almost all his stats are down from base.
Yeah, so you just customize it towards how you want to play. You know, that's kind of how that's what the gears. It's not going to give you like, okay, I'm better than this person just outright because you're going to be deficient in one other thing. But if you're really good at shooting, or if you want to be super fast or something like that, that's what you use the gear for, to customize it for how you want to play. You know,
Gotcha.
Here's the problem with the game. No matter how you slice it, if you buy the game right now today,
$60
for $60.
Evan made sure we all knew that. I know Evan. Evan was like, I spent. He just messaged me. I spent $60 on this game. He was like, I know.
you can see the entire game and everything there is to doing it in an hour or two. And the gear is supposed to be that's supposed to be the carrot dangling that brings you back. But my problem with the gear is that you're simply just making a character play like another character. Like if you want someone who's strong, you want to make your Mario strong, you're going to make your Mario not be able to shoot well. He's essentially just going to be like a Bowser or a Donkey Kong. So what's the point? Just pick Bowser or Donkey Kong. Like, it's just that, and the online stuff, it's just disappointing. It's disappointing. And the problem is that this keeps happening. I made a video several months ago, like 2 months ago, or maybe a month, saying, does Nintendo have a problem with their Mario Sports? Nah, you're overreacting. Blah, blah, blah. Tennis aces, golf.
They just strikers. They just have a problem with online in general.
Golf sucked ass.
Yeah.
Golf is definitely the worst out of the three, because golf actually plays like a golf game instead of a Mario game. At least with tennis aces and strikers, you know, they feel like fun, over the top games, but I don't know. It's very disappointing, and it feels very like five arenas, all of them have just plain old grass. It feels like a cheap. If you know what it feels like, a knockoff of Mario Strikers.
No way. Yeah, I could see what you mean by
More
that.
so. And people say, oh, well, someone in the chat, well, the online's better than the GameCube version. It came out 20 plus years ago. Video games advance over time. Things should get better. You should have more, not less. But I mean, you could say that about a lot of things. You could say that about Halo Infinite versus previous Halo games. You could definitely say that about Gran Turismo 7 versus Gran Turismo
GT
4 or 5. Like, fucking A. Like, it's an industry problem, but you would at least think that Nintendo, being so reliant on their first party software to drive their hardware sales, would at least pay more attention to that than other companies do. But it is what it is.
I think it also just comes down to the fact that maybe Nintendo still doesn't fully understand that people want to play these games a little bit more seriously than just like, it's like a party local thing or have people over.
I've said this before. Oh, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, I feel like even with Smash, like just now starting with the Panda Cup or Splatoon, with their opens that they'll do, I feel like they don't even necessarily value the competitive aspect. So like exploring all the options that it would require, which is really just a basic kind of rubric that other games use. Like, I think it's just unfortunate because, I mean, there were a lot of us, like you said, like we literally got jerseys. Like Evan worked hard on those, and we had club plans and stuff like that.
There's a reason I started opting out of the soccer theme for the jerseys.
Well,
yeah.
And I think, what was I gonna say? Oh, I got it back. Okay. I'm not afraid of Xena the Warrior Princess, so I'm not trying to be xenophobic with this. But I think a lot of the problem is Nintendo just bends over backwards and spreads their cheeks for the Japanese market when the Japanese market is not their biggest market. Do you know when the actual first for the ranking cup, do you know what time it starts, the first one? 3 a.m. Eastern time, because it starts at a relevant time for Japan, and it's like, it's not the same Japanese market anymore. You have a worldwide influence. You have a Western influence. Don't go all Western or anything like that, but at least acknowledge that you have a Western audience and you have a Western marketplace, and the Western people tend to like their online stuff to be, respectable and complete.
To a degree. I mean,
that has anything to do with the Japanese market, though.
Yeah, but how?
Why do you think that, though?
With the development of the game itself, I mean, it was made by Next Level. They're Western.
Yeah, but who has the final say overall on things? Do you think Next Level went up to Nintendo and said, "Hey, we got this 4-on-4 soccer game, but here's the catch: you can only do 2v2. What do you think about that?
No, but what does that have to do with the
like,
Japanese market itself? The Japanese market likes Splatoon, and that's 4 people can get into that.
Yeah, I'm also pretty sure. I'm also pretty sure their market
if that's
probably
not the
hates
case,
this.
then why would the tournament start at 3 a.m. Eastern time?
That yes, I agree.
Development of the game, though. Like what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
like, I get what you're saying. Like, okay, they're trying to make it to where people in Japan can play, but that I don't know if that impacts them not being able to have 4 people.
I
Like,
think Sean is trying to pivot in the direction of they're forcing that local co-op aspect because local co-op is still something that Nintendo views in the Japanese market as meaningful and substantial. It's family time. They want you to have the 2 people on their couch playing together against or with, Uncle Jimmy halfway across the country. And it's that idea where in the Western market, we see games from companies like, EA or whomever, where they say you can have 8 people from wherever playing the same game, be it, Madden or those type of things. Nintendo still wants to have that co-op focus, and that's why they ended up splitting the online in this way instead of just allowing 4 randoms.
I don't know. That
is why you're
feel
my
right.
attorney. You have to look at Nintendo's hesitation towards online play throughout the years to sort of see the bigger picture, I feel, because they've always been. I mean, you can't even talk to people on your Switch without a fucking phone app.
Well, I agree with that. I agree. Like, yeah, the Japanese side of things has definitely affected, the online and how they did that. I just don't know if next level in this particular situation was like, well, we're going to focus on this, so we're going to make it that, because Splatoon is hyper focused on Japan and it's 4 players. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. That's all.
But it is sort of a bullshit concept because you're saying you can't talk to people in games, but you can. There are games that have voice in them. It's just the companies and specifically Nintendo that just goes, nah, screw that for some reason.
Right.
But not only that, but Nintendo has been forced historically to add things. I mean, they had to change their online background stuff for Monster Hunter Rise, I believe. That was one of their big reasons to put that new network out. But there are games on there. Me and Nate did play one a long time ago, Streets of Rage, where he could invite me into the game from the menu. So there are functions on the Switch that they had to put on it for things that are more modernized, and then for some reason they just continue to not want to use them.
Yeah, a lot of underutilization.
And that's what I'm saying. That should be a standard feature.
Yeah, but then why even put the features in? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's so. This is the stupid thing about Nintendo. If you actually don't care, don't care. Like,
I think the reason I'm really disappointed in Mario Strikers is because I felt like Nintendo was at least figuring it out and turning a corner somewhat, because they even added online to Mario 3D World. That was a big thing when it came out on the Wii U. This doesn't have online. Why doesn't it have online? And Nintendo was like, oh, okay, well, this released online. Remember what happened with Super Mario Maker 2? So much backlash hit them that they were like, oh, let's add online. Yeah. It's terrible, but they still added it. They still put it in there. Well, so now I'm hoping
friends, like where you could. Yeah. It was going to have online, but they added like the whole friend.
The friends, yeah.
It wasn't going to be like.
It was randos, right?
Randos.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I think it's crazy that in 2022 we're still asking a company, one of the largest hardware manufacturers, to have competent online.
Yeah, have basic
features across the board, built into the hardware, not reliant on software, not reliant on, will this company have an invite system? Will this company include native voice? Friday the fucking 13th. It has voice chat. It has lobbies. It has invite system. This is a low budget game.
The game sucks, but yeah, you're.
No,
it's terrible.
But yeah, that's
not great.
But that is
it does have all that.
But that is the thing. I mean, they do have invite systems across a lot of games. This game just doesn't, and it's like the newest in the line. And you have to instead find the lobby your friend is in. You can't click a button and just be like invite anyone.
I wonder.
Mario Golf has that.
I know. Well, that's why it almost seems like Nintendo just doesn't care. It almost seems like there's no final approved process. It almost seems like they just work on the game, at a certain point they go, "Oh, this will fit in fiscal window 1.3. Just throw it out," because like it just seems lacking.
I wonder also how much they still want to keep that family friendly face like present at the forefront. Like I wonder how much they still, like when it comes to voice chat, right? I wonder if they're just like, oh, well, the adults will find a way to get on Discord. The adults will find a way to communicate regardless. I wonder at what point they still want to aim things to have kid gloves to where they could not possibly be responsible for. I mean, there is a lot of toxicity that comes with the online landscape when it comes to voice chat and adding those elements in. I mean, even like I know for me, like
We've heard
a
Sean
lot
talk,
of game. Yeah, but I mean,
Sean's part of
even
the
in
problem.
the aspect of kids, you know, like dealing with adults and questionable characters, or you know, dealing with a lot of hate. Like maybe that's something that they don't necessarily want to get into, and they're like, if companies want to do it, that's your own liability. I don't know. I'm not like, that's just something that I have to think on, because it just doesn't necessarily make sense. But I wonder at what point, if they're like, if we do full out voice chat or communication, you know, like a messaging system, like how much will we become a liability for children, which is one of our huge demographics, to also be at harm. So at some point, I do think that could be a factor. And I agree, like they should kind of make it accessible for everybody at all ages, and maybe have parental controls and all of that stuff, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But a lot of parents are lazy, and maybe there's
parental
like
controls though. They have those.
I know,
in
and
there,
they could
you
have it
know?
much more
So,
involved. But at some
yeah.
point, I really think like there has to be, other than a cultural thing, or other than maybe a lot of people who make the decisions are older and they don't understand the importance. Maybe this could also be another factor too, where they're being too protective of like the younger demographics. So overcompensation, I wouldn't say is a good thing. And hopefully they will evolve. I don't know. I think the Switch is definitely a console that's for the younger, but definitely for the older, and we've all grown up with them. Maybe it's time to let that happen, you know. But there will be liability involved with
What's
it.
like hentai games and shit on there though? Like,
Right. One of the on sale right now on the storefront is hentai take my clothes off LOL, and the description says best game to play with one hand.
Yeah, but but isn't that one of those things that's under parental controls? Is access to the eShop?
I mean,
I don't remember.
Why can't voice chat just be limited to those on your friends list? A very simple solution that Nintendo
That's a good idea.
could do. Instead, they said you need a cell phone with an attachment.
You do have to put that friend code in
for the game.
And kids have cell phones. Every kid has. I mean, that just sounds like parents need to parent their kids.
Yeah,
No,
there
I
needs to be the
1000% agree.
I'm not. I know.
Like there need like Sean was saying, or like you know, everyone was saying, there needs to be like a baseline that like, hey, it can't just be like, it's so patchy. Like sometimes tennis can do this, but then golf can do some things that this can. It's so, it needs to be more uniform and flat across the board. Like, hey, this is the minimum of what we're going to have, whether it's like the invites, the voice chat, whatever, it's 4 players, if whatever amount of players it is. Like, so that's the frustrating thing. And I'm not even gonna sit here and act like they're going to necessarily change. I think it's going to be a game-to-game basis. Like when Splatoon 3 comes out, outside of everything probably but voice chat, I mean, everything else is probably going to be supported, you know, like all other types of things is probably going to be supported with Splatoon, because that's just that game, you know? So that's the frustrating thing, is that we never know exactly how it's going to be, because, you know, they're always going to switch it up. So I hope one of these days that they'll have like a minimum across the board where it's like, hey, it's always going to have this X, Y, and Z, and, you know, voice chat, you know, at some point too. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I use Discord though, but yeah.
Oh yeah. We're gonna, we'll see. I mean, updates are coming. There's 10 character slots, I think, that have been data mined, and most likely there'll have some modes and other things added.
Half of the characters.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with the season that kicks off in a week and a half. A week,
yeah, like 8 days, 9 days.
8 days or so.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if they have. I assume based on the timeline with Mario Golf, maybe they'll introduce a new character with the new season. Since Mario Golf, a new character showed up, like 2 weeks later or something. What was it? Who was it, Sean?
I don't remember.
Was it Toadette? You made a big deal about that.
Oh yeah. Fucking in the single player thing, Toadette's like right there, full character and everything. It's like, oh, I can't play as Toadette. Oh, our first DLC character is Toadette. It's like, yeah, you totally didn't hold that back, Nintendo. Fuckers.
Don't disrespect the Toadette.
I like Toadette.
We're gonna segue into our sponsor for tonight. That is Factor. Factor is an awesome service that I've actually been using. You can have meals delivered straight to your door. Save yourself a ton of time. You don't have to worry about cooking, grocery shopping, or dishes. Takes minutes to pop these in the microwave, cook them, feel good for the summer. You could choose from Factor's Calorie Smart, keto options, built-in portion control. It's a great tool, help you get fit for the summer. Factor offers 30 meals per week. where you can choose from a variety of new meals every single week. And on top of that, Factor gives you the option to change it up. You can select any plan size between 4 to 18 meals per week, fit that busy schedule, whether you want to have lunch or dinner done in no time flat. They also offer several preferences, whether it's vegan or veggie meals, keto meals, low-calorie options, cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, plant-based bars, extra protein, and more. Make sure you check the link down below in the description. They are supporting the podcast tonight. Head to go.factor75.com/spawncast120 and use code spawncast120 to get $120 off. That's code spawncast120 at go.factor75.com/spawncast120 for $120 off. Shout out to Factor for sponsoring the podcast tonight. Let's talk about, you know what? I was going to go into Summer Game Fest. Do we just want to cut to the final announcement and then we'll wrap up with Summer Games Fest? Because Jordan even mentioned this one, that being Last of Us Part 1. It is happening. This was leaked out a while ago. I think Jason Schreier leaked this out during a report that I don't even think was about this game. It was about Ben's studio, wasn't it? And he was like, oh yeah, this other studio was working on Last of Us Remake and they moved it to Naughty Dog and took it away from him. But here we are. It is announced. It is coming out in September. It's September 2nd. So that's one of their holiday games then. And the other one we assume is going to be God of War. But this is a ground up remake that will include the downloadable content, the Left Behind content. And they showed off the screenshots. They had a full trailer for it. And it looks significantly better, I would say, personally, just looking at the screenshots. Do you have the actual press downloads that they gave out? Where you have it?
I
like,
did, yes. I have the 4K downloaded. Yeah.
I think it looks better than, like, if you put it next to the PS3 version, yes, it looks significantly better. If you put it next to the PS4 version, I still think it looks better.
I almost think, I want to start this off negative and just say I almost think the hyper realistic faces almost seem to have less expression. They almost seem to have, like, all the deep shadows on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 version, especially Joel's face. He had to be more expressive to convey stuff, whereas now it's so hyper realistic. He just does like a slight crinkle of his eyebrows and stuff. I almost think lower graphics to me, I don't know, it was easier to read. I don't know, this, I'm going to buy it, but $70. I want to see the gameplay. I want to see the new combat, man.
It's going to have new combat. It's going to be closer, I guess, to Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
They have retroactively gone back and called this Last of Us Part 1 now because there's a Part 2. But 7.
That's the big key, man. That's the big key with this. If the combat is as good as Last of Us Part 2, like if they really find, because Last of Us Part 2's gameplay, you can say what you want about the game. The gameplay is incredible. I love the gameplay. Last of Us Part 1 gameplay is, I don't think it's that great. Like, I think it wasn't even good, I think, back in 2013.
I liked it, but it's very repetitive.
I think people were more like awestruck at how different it was, to where it was hard to pick it apart. And as you've gone on, it's like, okay, well, in comparison to other games that have done it now but better.
Yeah, I think in comparison, though, I think my issue was that I did play it back when it came out on PS4. I played the remastered one, and I thought it was okay, but I never really finished it. And then I played everything all together right before Last of Us Part 2 came out. So I played Part 1, and then I played Part 2 back to back. And Part 2's gameplay, like, utterly destroys it, right? So I think that's the reason I'm a little bit more negative now. If I played it more back then, but I didn't like it even back then. But if the gameplay is like Part 2, I mean, that's going to be really good, because then you get the amazing story, and then you also get that awesome gameplay of Part 2, you know? But then it kind of sucks because you know what happens, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that they did also say, I think what I'm most curious about, anybody who played a lot of hours of Last of Us Part 2, like a lot of us, the AI is absolutely stunning. The enemies of that game, they're actually smart. They'll say specific names. They'll call out commands to try and flank you. They did specifically say they found a way to put that AI in Last of Us Part 1. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's cool to see these kind of new age improvements in the game and everything. My favorite part has been online seeing the screenshots back to back that people are choosing to show for viral tweets, where it looks like there's barely a difference. Oh, the fabric on the shirt's a little bit different, and you can see every individual beard hair that Joel has. But there was one that I was like, okay, that actually looks like a major difference, and that was the clicker comparison.
Clicker shot. I saw that. And I was like, wow, that looks significantly better.
Okay, great. And while The Last of Us, Part 1, The Last of Us is one of my favorite games. I absolutely love the game. So I am excited to revisit it again with these new updates, but I still cannot help but think that this is the most pointless use of assets to remake this game. It is not old. They just had the remaster, which still, regardless of
Holds
the
up.
gameplay of it, it holds up. It's not. There's so many other things.
Let me ask you this one, Jordan. Let me ask you this. Okay, you either get. Would you rather have this remake, or the Uncharted 1 remake?
Uncharted 1, no question. Uncharted.
Yeah. There we go.
You talk about a game that could benefit from looking. That game was beautiful back when it first came out, but imagine how crazy good it can look now.
Well,
Hand in hand with that movie? Yeah, I mean,
have you played the remaster?
Yeah, I played the
remaster looks phenomenal. They did a great job with the remaster for Uncharted 1. So I mean, if they enhance the gameplay, like what's like a skill, like some skills and stuff like that, I would definitely buy that day one for 70 if they enhance the gameplay on top of the graphics.
It just feels like they're only doing this so they can have it kind of come out around when the show is coming out, and then kind of giving them more buffer room and people thinking about this so they can drop factions whenever that's done. And it just feels unnecessary. Like when the remaster came out, right? That was what, $40 when that came out?
It was free it was free with a lot of PS4s. I got mine for free.
Yes, I thought it might have been 60, but you're right. Yeah,
I feel like it was 40 when they came. It was either 40 or 50, right? But you know, you go from 60 to whatever little price down. And I know this is a complete remade from the ground up, which I don't know how much of that I believe based on the way they're showing the cutscenes.
They said they did like new animations and everything.
Those animations look too spot on for me to be like, oh, they didn't just pull a bunch of assets and then code it to make it look better. But I'm not a game developer. I'm not here.
Well, actually, this is good, Jordan. MVG.
I think you guys are all being way too harsh on this.
See, I saw MVG on Twitter. That's why I'm saying this, Jordan.
I think Last of Us Part 1 is a freaking masterpiece. It's one of my favorite games ever made, and I can't wait to play this game. I'm so psyched. I'm double dipping. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. I love Last of Us. Love it.
I'm on the same boat. I want to play it again, but
I'm excited to play.
My issue is that it just feels pointless right now.
Yeah,
a game that's been remastered already, available for $5.
It was remastered like 5 years
I'm not
ago.
done. I'm not done.
No, it's more than that.
And
It's like 7 or
less
8.
less content than the original version, and you're cool with paying $70.
Yeah, I could care less about the multiplayer side. I never played Last of Us for the multiplayer. Last of Us is about the story. It's always been about the story.
You
Factions
watch
is
The
cool.
Walking Dead.
Factions is cool, but it's not why people play The Last of Us.
I've heard from my friend, you guys probably know, Mr. P.O. He says the Factions multiplayer is like the greatest. He feels like it's the greatest multiplayer
It's
ever.
awesome, dude. I loved it.
Yeah. Yep, people really like that.
Yeah.
MVG, when this comes out, because I love your videos, MVG, will you do possibly, if I could pitch something like why the remake needed to happen, and you talk about whenever it comes out, maybe looking at it from more of a dev eye? Because I don't know. This to me looks lazy. I would love to hear a dev talk about it.
The reason the remake is happening is because Naughty Dog has to familiarize themselves with PlayStation 5 hardware. This is a great way to do it. And you have the TV show coming. This was an easy win for Naughty Dog and Sony to remake The Last of Us Part 1. You have the show coming. This is clearly a franchise and an IP that they see high value in. This is an easy opportunity for them. And people brought up Uncharted 1. Would that not be sitting in the same argument right now? It came out on the PS3, was remastered for the PS4, is part of the PlayStation Plus collection. So if they would have remade that, wouldn't people saying, I can play this across all these 3 generations?
Oh, I think people would complain no matter what. I'm just saying which one I prefer.
Well, it's the time period, though, because Last of Us, Uncharted 1 came out, in 2007. And then it got remastered all this time later. Whereas I think the argument is Last of Us Part 1 came out in 2013, and then it was remastered shortly thereafter.
3 releases in 10 years.
Yeah, it's within 9 years, and you have those, not necessarily I don't think it's like the ports, but I think it's like when you do extra work on it, right? So it's you're remaking the remaster or whatever that already kind of came out, or you're remaking it. So I think that's where some people have issue with. If Last of Us came out back in 2008, the original, I don't think people would be as hard.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I can see that argument.
This is the ultimate tone setter for Sony's $70 price tag. Right here, like, nope. These are $70 from now on going forward. It is a remake and it's $70.
But here's the thing: it's going to sell because of the fact that we don't know about God of War Ragnarok's current status. Let's say that does end up getting
coming out in 2022.
But let's say, for the sake,
coming out November.
Even so, those are Sony's big games. You have to have holiday games for people to buy shit during the holidays. Yep. This obviously is a holiday game. It's going to sell, but I'm not buying it.
That Firefly edition sold out.
Yep. Yeah. Well, what I'm curious about
a steel book and a booklet, because it's
some content for the
steel
game.
Books, some content, comic books.
Well, and speaking of content, I'm going to be curious if people who buy the remake, I have a feeling factions, because I'll be honest, I'm so freaking excited about this multiplayer thing. The fact that they said it's going to be the size of a single player game, I'm so excited about that. I'm curious if they're going to be like, all right, if you own Last of Us Part 2, you'll get this bonus cosmetic content. If you have Last of Us Part 1, you'll get this content. I'm curious if they start doing that, where like you have to buy all the chunks of Last of Us, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're gonna fuck video games, man. Seriously,
fuck them.
I guess my main question is, I guess like the audience that you're trying to go after. I feel like it would either be people who haven't maybe played 2 and now they want to play 1 and 2 together for a seamless experience. Yep. Or you, like MVG or Jordan, you adore the game, you've played the game multiple times, you pretty much know it like the wrinkles on your hand, and now you want to see how it's evolved and what the differences are and the little, like subtle differences, and like, wow, like this scene hits different, or I like the old one better than the new one. Like, I feel like there's almost no one in between. Like for me, I loved the game. I like OJ, I went through and I played through everything after being recommended to me countless times before 2 came out. I went and I played through everything, the DLC and all that stuff, and I enjoyed it. But I don't know, for me, again, with that price tag, which is fine, and this is the same thing for Skyward Sword. I'm the same boat as MVG, where I was like, Skyward Sword, I love it, one of my favorite games, I'm buying it regardless. But for some people who played Skyward Sword on the Wii, like playing the original Last of Us or the remaster of Last of Us, it's like, I enjoyed it, I liked it, but I don't care enough about the differences to now get this one. Like, I'll wait for the multiplayer, that'll be something new and something different, but I just feel like it's one over the other. Either you haven't played it before or you adore the game already. Like that's just where I feel like it is.
There's a leak going around that I believe, but I haven't talked about it in a video, but there's talks that there's going to be an extra little Abby segment at the end of this.
Okay, that would
to
make
sort
sense.
of set up Last of Us Part 2, and there's a rumor that they want to make a Last of Us Part 2 director's cut next year, so Last of Us Part 2 is going to get a re-release on PlayStation 5 as well.
Yeah, but
so this is their way of getting. They want you to buy everything.
That Abby just busts onto the scene without enough context to her. If they did that, it wouldn't fix everything, but it would fix a lot, because Abby she just busted like the Kool-Aid man, dude. Like,
I mean,
just out of nowhere.
How do you feel about dogs?
But in a way, I feel like that's like a lazy answer to like some of the messy writing in 2, because in 2 you totally could have included parts of 1 that connected, like her walking in or her getting news about her father and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things that I feel like they left out in the writing of 2 that maybe they're trying to like not retcon or change things, but like what they didn't have in the organization of 2, now they're trying to fix with this remake of 1. So I don't know, but I think the problem with 2 is it leaves too much room for you to have to try to guess what she went through versus just showing you. Because one thing I've realized for a lot of people is they need to be shown things and be like, you need to feel this way, or this is how she feels. We're going to show you how she feels. Otherwise, people don't think about it, because out of sight, out of mind. And that's lazy writing. So
my biggest problem with The Last of Us 2, and I've said it here, it's not the story, it's not what happens, it's just how it's told.
Yep.
It's in a messy way that makes you less interested in other aspects that you're forced to do because of how it's told. If the director's cut version of The Last of Us 2, if that becomes a thing, I really hope if the director's cut version can kind of reshift how the story plays. It would kind of feel like a new game. It experience everything again. And maybe that fixes a lot of problems that I'd personally have, because it's just how the narrative is told is what I didn't like. Not what happened, not because of certain characters, just how the story is told.
Yeah. I just think it sucks that because 2's writing was so messy that they literally have to fix something that felt so complete as 1. Like I feel like 1 was so like in and of itself, it's like a golden treasure. Like I think a lot of people look back on that and they're like, that is like a pillar of greatness. It's not perfect, but it's a beautiful package. And the fact that you have to go and like change that to fix the modern version, that I don't know. I just feel like in a way it's tainting it, and maybe it's a lazy cop out, but they're gonna make money, so whatever. I don't know.
Let's go over to some super chats here before we go over Summer Game Fest. Tijo says, I love 3 hopes so far, but I think once again proves that we need a new Switch. Why is the frame rate unlocked and capped at 60 rather than 30? It also doesn't switch controllers when undocking. I haven't played the demo yet. I've been meaning to, but I played Strikers insteed. So maybe I need
some Musu, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a Warriors game.
Mm-hmm. For Fire Emblem and everything. I mean, I think at this point everyone's just ready for the same concept, just new hardware that's stronger. I don't know. Everyone's sold on the concept. I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting to see what Nintendo wants to do. This is from the Uncharted Wolf saying, this is fun. Watch Game Fest and IMAX. Crowd popped off hardest for TMNT, Cuphead, and Sean, massively for Goat Simulator.
Awesome.
Weirdos.
Saw someone fell asleep during Last of Us, and I was the only one hyped for One Piece. Overall fun time. Parker says, I got the GB operator. I can play Game Boy games with the cartridge plugged into my PC, but it allows me to download the game as well. Is there a way I can play without the cartridge if my card dies?
I mean, you can just use an emulator and the ROM that you downloaded, right?
You can rip the ROM from it. Yeah. You can just basically pull the whole game. You can rip your cartridges and back them up. Yeah, you can just play that. Spaz says, would like to say thank you to the entire Spawncast. You guys are awesome. Also, if you guys are into heavy music, check out A Beautiful Retribution. I Am the Poison is their debut album. Lead vocals, Matt, is a high school bud.
Check that out.
Heard of that. Yeah.
Let's see. This is from
right now.
Cisco says, hey crew, not trying to be a downer, but rest in peace, Virginia legend Ferdinand and Dr. Maruki.
And Jotaro from the English voiceover, he passed away, the voice actor.
I saw that on Twitter today. Yeah, a lot of people have said. Apparently, he was big in the convention circuit. Apparently, he was like a legit nice dude and a great voice actor. Very sad.
Jojo, he's a Jotaro. He's
Yeah.
No, sorry, Josuke. Sorry, not Jotaro. Josuke. He's Josuke from Part 4, and I'm sad.
Okay, I gotcha. Oh.
Josuke.
Let me have Josh saying, hey, Spawn, do you need someone to hit you up about the Mario Strikers net play on Dolphin? Hit me up if the Switch version isn't doing it for you. Also, shout out to everyone in the cast and chat, except for console haters. Louis says, reflecting on the PlayStation State of Play, what was even the point of it, given that those big games are being shown at every other showcase?
Marketing deals. It was straight up that a lot of those are things that exclusively PlayStation has the marketing of, so they want to be like, hey, here's this game, it's on PlayStation and everything else. Here's this game, it's on everything.
And everything else.
Gotta show those commercials.
Yep.
And this is from On a Ship saying, RGT, make sure to hand over the scepter and crown to the true king OJ after Metroid Dread hits over 3 million before the allotted time. Also make sure to eat all of that humble pie while collecting all the hats.
You have we're in June, July, August, September, October. You have 4 months to hope and pray that Nintendo updates those sales statistics.
I'll get it. Don't worry.
Sean says, let's all send some big love to Gene Park. Get well soon, buddy. We're all hoping for a quick recovery so he can get back to doing what he loves. Shout out to Gene Park. Big shout out to Gene. Luxian says, just curious, what's something you guys can do better with your non-dominant hand? For example, I can spin basketballs better with my left hand.
I do all art with my left hand. I don't know why. I can't do anything with my right hand. So I craft clay, painting, everything. I can only write and play games with my right hand.
Nope, I can use both, baby. Basketball camp back in the day. Dribbling, they teach you how to use both.
Really?
Yes. Yes, if you're a basketball player, you should know how to use both hands pretty easily.
I've seen that training. Yeah, I've seen that thing where you do the cones and stuff.
You do the cones and you do the dribbling. At first, I was terrible with my left hand because I'm right-handed naturally. But when I'm doing basketball camps and just playing basketball for a decade plus, your left hand becomes like your right hand. So I can use both. It's pretty cool.
Yum says, is just me, or I just found The Last of Us will be 10th year in 2023, June 14, 2023. That's why they're releasing a part 1. Bad
It's not
Gamer
why they're
says, hey OJ, wanted to comment on the last week when you talked about ending of RE4, your issue with it. Oh, man. And let you know they cut all of those lines in RE4 VR, so they will probably be gone in the remake.
Okay, so for those for context, because at the end of RE4, you have an option to have to help out a young lady, you know?
Right. Yeah.
She's lost. She's trying to find Orgasm Town, but she needs some direction.
I didn't say that. You have the option, and Leon turns her down. So I was saying, well, in the remake, this young lady, she's been through a traumatic experience. She's just trying to have some fun with her savior, right? Somebody that helped out. You know?
Counterpoint: what if Leon is gay?
He's not because of Ada.
Bye.
Okay, well then, yeah, he's bi. Okay, big deal.
It's a bi king. I respect it.
Lance says, finally ran my rare replay disc through my Series X, acquired directly as a result of a Newswave notifying bundle drop at GameStop. Stuff 100%. Banjo in time for Nate's hint. Next GoldenEye on rare replay.
What?
Bring GoldenEye. That's all I know. Phil says,
I was the one that said GoldenEye to rare replay.
Okay. Phil says, thanks guys for the members who have kids. What games did you start them out on, and at what age? My 3.5-year-old loves Donkey Kong Country and Mario 64. They like Kirby right now. Kirby.
Super Mario 3D World. Me and my daughter played that so much, like when she was like 2-3 years old.
Kirby's
I
the big
can only play Spyro.
And there we go. Let's see. Boot says, I've gotten big on vinyl this year, but I don't have a game soundtrack on vinyl yet. What should be my first 3? Vinyl.
Silent Hill 2.
Specifically for game sound. Did they have a vinyl one for that?
I don't know. Did they?
Because I mean, you can print them on it, but like if it's low quality compression anyway, it's just not going to be. I don't know why you're doing it on vinyl. There were a few games that came out recently that had vinyl prints though for their OSTs though.
The Doom one. I heard a good shit about the Doom one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The recent Doom one?
Or no, the original. Yeah, I know there was all that problems with Doom Eternal, but apparently the original Doom had a good record pressing.
Ryan says, any news on System Shock and MVG speak on it?
Yeah.
I cannot speak on it.
There you go. Boy says they are announcing an OG Xbox Mini tomorrow for $100.
Wait.
Lord says, John, are you streaming the showcase tomorrow? Yes, I will be streaming the showcase tomorrow. Yep, I do that one every year, so I'll be doing it. Joel says RGT is Steph Curry, top 10 all time.
Yes.
There you go.
Is Larry Bird?
I think he's top 15.
Oh, okay.
Okay. D Jones says, I heard The Last of Us remake is so faithful to the original that the devs took the same amount of time to crunch for this one. Very impressive. Yum says, I still cannot pre-purchase Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Dre says, okay, hear me out. This will sound crazy. What if Microsoft announces that huge PC games are coming to Xbox, such as League of Legends, World of Warcraft? People have asked about World of Warcraft. How would that even like work on a controller?
Not well.
I was gonna say
You can connect.
I mean, it works great.
You can connect
FF14
on Xbox, but I mean, what's the difference then?
I feel like FF14 because if you're using it as reference, is more designed for a controller. Which
well, I've played thousands of hours of FF14 and World of Warcraft, and I would say most classes in World of Warcraft use 6 main abilities. So I mean, you couldn't do arena, but I feel like you could do the PvE dungeons with a controller.
Okay. And that's everything for now. Oh, and then Demolition says, got Miss Click's jersey this week. Waiting on Jordan Fringes next week. And then we'll order Dreamcast guys next. Who should be next? Is it Sean? 50-50 Sean? Yeah.
I like shout out to Evan. I have so many people that like the prepare for disappointment that all the logos have. The little that in the court that looks so like this badge. Like it just he looks pissed. It's so good.
That's great.
Let's go to Summer Game Fest. Summer Games Fest 2022. About an hour 45, something like that. An hour 45 minutes. There were a lot of announcements here, but I don't know if they hit as hard as people were hoping. we can go through most of the reveals here. Some of these we might just like rapid fire through, but
I mean,
first,
let's just
go
talk about our favorite. I was going to say, talk about our favorites. Honestly, 80% of this felt like filler. I feel like if we go through all of it, it's going to take forever.
I can rapid fire some of it and stop on it. Like Guile, for example, Street Fighter 6 looking good.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
That game looks phenomenal.
Street Fighter 6 looks very good.
They're doing an event right now. I know Maximilian Dude just showed off hands-on footage of it like all last night. It looks really good.
4K 60, yeah.
Yeah, I like the art style. I mean, yeah, it looks great. All the gameplay they've shown. I even like the walking up animation for the versus screen where they had had them walking up. The music was playing. He's pointing at them. That was good. Like this actually Street Fighter game might try.
Soul Calibur 2 style trash talk. I can't wait to get my ass kicked by OJ, and on the loading screen I can be like, "You suck" in the loading screen. I love it.
It looks good. Guile looks great. I like this. They have like
actually combs his hair. Like it's actually like
yeah.
Instead of him just like patting his hair or like just hitting it and it's like a rock, there's actually like hair to comb. So that's pretty cool.
It looks real. Like it definitely looks like they put this game together with spectators in mind, because it has like the splash of color and the cool effects happening, and at times doesn't even look like it's necessarily a game. It
100%, because they have commentators, popular commentators in the game.
The announcer for it is constantly talking. You can turn it on and off, but they talk like it's an Evo match. Like they talk about every little thing going on. It's crazy.
They have it in Japanese and in English.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty freaking cool. Like I like the whole setup of that. You know, Street Fighter 6 looks awesome. I'm very, very, very excited about the game. I'm probably gonna start playing Street Fighter again. I haven't been into playing Street Fighter again since Third Strike. Third Strike was the last time, and Street Fighter 4 a bit, but I was more of the watching.
I like 4.
I was more about what, but like I didn't play competitively. Like the last time I was actually super competitive was like Street Fighter Third Strike. So this one's gonna get me back into actually playing it and not casually play. Like I just casually played Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 5 I hate. I just watched that one. So I mean I'm back. I'm back with Street Fighter 6. So I'm excited.
We had a trailer for Aliens Dark Descent.
Top-down action
trailer
game.
That definitely was trying to give off a different kind of vibe than that 3 seconds of gameplay they showed.
Dude, I love twin stick shooters. I'm super excited, man. I think that game's gonna be fun as hell.
I don't think it's a twin stick shooter.
No, I think didn't they say it was like a strategy or a tactics game?
Yeah.
It's an RTS. I take back everything. Put it in the garbage can. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's a tactical game.
No one knows what this game was until they put the press release out. There's another one like this that we'll talk about where the CG trailer did not at all convey what the game actually was.
Midnight Suns, the card game.
No, it was Stormgate. Stormgate.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that game.
We had the Callisto Protocol. I say one of the highlights of the show.
Yes,
that's my game of show.
Yeah, it looks great. Definitely that has that Dead Space vibe obviously to it, but I like a lot of what they even showed gameplay that was definitely imperfect at times. You had frame rate issues in there and stuff, but they showed up with raw gameplay. They didn't dress it up necessarily if there was an issue. And I like that they do have the character specific deaths in there where your character got like killed by like the machine and like sucked you in and all of that. And like that again feels like Dead Space. So
do you see? It looks like there's a melee system, and I noticed that while you're meleeing, you still have your shooting reticle. So I think there's almost going to be like a horror combo system in a way where you'll be able to chop somebody and then shoot, or if you run out of ammo, do the opposite, which is shoot and start chopping. I don't know. I think that's really interesting.
Has the limb system where you're just like knocking their limbs off for strategy and all of that. Like it looks good. It looks really good. So I'm curious. This game, I think for a lot of people feels like it came out of nowhere now because it's coming out in December. And I think some are concerned that it might be like a really short game or something, but I mean, we'll see when it comes out. I'm excited for it. They showed off Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Looks like Call of Duty. That's what I wrote down. Looks like Call of Duty. Visually it's very impressive. I don't know. It's the first Modern Warfare, the last Modern Warfare from Infinity Ward. There were some missions in that game that looked photorealistic. There was the one where you were like storming through the building and all of this, and that was like blurring the lines of like real life at times. And from what they showed here, it had that same kind of effect. So I don't know.
Took too long.
I
literally went upstairs, took a whiz, got a snack, came back, and they were still fucking talking. And then they had to talk to the developer.
That was weird.
Yeah.
They brought them on. Like, we just watched the game.
Yeah, and I liked it too. I thought the gameplay looked fantastic, but it was weird to come out and then they bragged about their game engine. Like, I don't give a shit.
The water was like one thing there, because like when you're on the boat, they had like the water pouring off the sides, and they were like, "Look at this." All right,
Look at it.
Thank you. So I mean, Infinity Ward's good at what they do. I'm sure it'll be a good shooter. So I'm curious. Online will probably be all built out and everything. I'm sure I can party up with 4 people, so that'll be a thing. And then we have Flashback 2.
Yeah,
Did not expect that. I'll give Jeff Keighley credit for that one. I was not expecting any of that. What do you think, MG? Flashback? You on Flashback 2?
I'm not sure how I feel about this one, because part of me remember how they did like a Flashback remake on Xbox Live?
They did
back in 2008 or something.
Mm-hmm.
They
put it on They put it on like disc, I think, too. I saw it at the store on PS4.
Yeah, I got similar vibes from this one. I mean, the original Flashback is a fantastic game, so I don't know about this one. It's 50-50, honestly.
Okay.
Got it.
Man lies about Banjo to websites. tells me trophies are going to be on all PS1 games. Then he gets super excited about paying $70 for a game that's reliant on story, and he already knows the story. And then Flashback 2. That's where we're drawing the line. I don't know about Flashback 2. I don't know.
That's the hill, the Flashback.
That's the hill. That's the line.
Man, just put this man MVG in a blender. Damn, dude, so you have to do all that.
We had
It's not necessary.
we had Witchfire. Any comment on that one?
That looks good.
I'll keep going.
It's early.
No comments.
Yeah, it looks good, but I don't like early access.
A lot of people seemed very excited about that on my Twitter feed.
Interesting. Okay.
Like Gilly the Kid was excited for it. Kevin Kenson was excited for it, and I'm like, did we watch the same thing? Like, I don't know.
Okay, Witchfire. Keep
I
on that one.
didn't see any of it, guys. I'll be honest, I fell asleep after like the Callisto or whatever game. I tried to stay awake, man, but I'll be honest, I dozed off and I just fell asleep. I got some new couches though, and they were comfortable as hell. And I just knocked out.
Fort Solace was shown. And
was that the
was it though? Was it?
No. Okay, so hold on. They showed the
Callisto
CG,
Light.
the trailer, and I got like a completely different vibe than what they then described. So they did it again with these CG trailers where they were like, I kind of like a scary, like dramatic game, but then they're like, oh, there's action and all this stuff happening, and you got biomes. I'm like, what in the what? Did you show me? Are you talking about what you just showed me? This one has like Troy Baker and Roger Clark, who was Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. Apparently this is his next project. Like no one else had him do stuff, like just weird because he was in Red Dead Redemption 2. But like, okay, Fort Solace. There you go. Routine. I don't know what that game is.
What are you talking? That's the game that has Mick Gordon from Doom doing the soundtrack.
Couldn't tell.
They just played ambience.
Couldn't tell.
Well, guess what it is. It looks like
it could be like Trent Reznor doing the Quake soundtrack. It's just all like weird, creepy noises and stuff.
No, because when you turned on Quake on the Sega Saturn, you had that
Yep.
You could tell. You're like, oh, okay, that's kind of Nine Inch Nailsy.
What was that? Can you do that again?
I want you to do the Social Network music.
What?
Because they did that whole soundtrack. I want to hear your interpretation.
What, like right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the game gave off a lot of Alien Isolation vibes, so we will have to see kind of what it comes out as, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. They showed it. I'm not sure what I saw. We had The Rock, who filmed what actually looked like a cameo. Like Jeff went on the website and paid for a cameo.
On cameo.
Yeah, he might have. The Rock was like at his gym and was like, "Oh yeah, that's right," and like pulled his phone out.
It's a nice gym.
Oh yeah. A very nice gym. And Outriders expansion, World Slayer.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
That's a thing. So I might want to let people let them know that an expansion is coming out. Maybe they can get their royalties. We'll see. Fall Guys. There was a trailer for that one. Stormgate.
Yep.
They showed what looked like, I don't, Recore or something when they were showing it off. I was like, oh, cool. It looks like a Recore. And it's an RTS. 3v3 competitive multiplayer. No 4v4. This game's already dead in the water. 3v3 competitive multiplayer. And there's a beta next year. I got none of that from the trailer.
And they showed a picture of it. They're like, oh, yeah, here's a picture of it. And it's like, what the fuck? What dimension did you crawl out of to do a CGI trailer that's not indicative? It feels like the 90s again, you know? At least they had an excuse.
Yeah. Some of these trailers are very misleading. I definitely think Midnight Suns, which showed all the Marvel characters beating ass, that's a card game. Like, why are we showing all these?
It's like a turn-based card game. We'll get to that one. I guess it's a turn-based card game. I looked at some of the gameplay. I don't think it looks as bad as what everyone's envisioning for it now after they took some time with it. We'll get to that. High Water. Post-apocalyptic adventure strategy game. Everything's underwater.
Yeah, I played it. It's called Submerged.
There you go. American Arcadia. It's like the Truman Show.
Truman Show with a little bit of whatever. I can't think of what I was going to say.
Goat Simulator 3.
Fuck off. I thought it was Dead Island.
A lot.
They really went in on that trailer.
It says it right here in this website. No, not Dead Island 2.
That's some of my favorite reactions, is going to different people's videos and watching their reaction to it.
Man. Okay, and then we have the Midnight Suns. Let's do it October 7th. Spider-Man and Venom are in there.
Awesome trailer for a fucking card game.
Yeah,
it's like a turn-based card game.
The trailer's not going to be indicative of what you're playing, though, and that's all they showed.
Yeah. They know it.
There's gameplay.
Let's face it. They knew that's going to make people search Midnight Sun. Like, wow, Spider-Man. Why is Venom the main target? I'm going to Google that, and it's like cards. What the fuck?
They did release some gameplay for it here. They have it posted up, and
it wasn't on the show when everyone's watching.
It was definitely not on the show. It looks like a turn-based RTS. Or actually turn-based XCOM style with cards. That's the best way I can describe the gameplay that I saw.
It's like Metal Gear Acid. It's Metal Gear Acid 100%.
Okay, yeah. And then we had Cuphead DLC, Delicious Last Course.
I enjoyed that. That was a good presentation.
Oh, gosh. Okay. The game itself looks like more Cuphead. Cuphead is a great game, so I will check this one out because I really liked it.
Definitely check it out.
Okay. Neon White. Crushed a lot of dreams.
Crushed a lot of dreams.
Crushed.
Because there was a high probability that this had leaked the Nintendo Direct. At least it's what the internet told me. And then this showed up, and they were like, "Wait a minute, there might not be a Nintendo Direct next week now because this is coming out."
We got schmixed. That's true. We got schmixed. It's okay.
June 16th. It's coming out. So next week. Let's see. Midnight Flight and Midnight Fight Express.
What was that? Oh, that was that weird sort of top-down game.
Isometric Sifu kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that looks awesome. That's made by one guy.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. August 23rd. There's a PC demo actually out now on Steam. You want to check it out? Warframe. I don't know what they were saying during Warframe. Evan, please. You can tell us.
A few years ago, they showed off a new open world thing, and then I guess COVID hit, and a lot of their stuff got kind of set back. So now they're just basically telling everyone they're releasing the open world pretty much.
I'm going to attempt this one. Duverai Paradox.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of time travel-y shit recently, so that's all that's going to be about.
Okay, good. Good to hear that's coming out. Genshin Impact. They showed Star Rail.
Yep.
And Zenless Zone Zero.
Did not make any sense. It sounds like it's part of
it's part of the
video game universe.
It's a universe
they're trying,
building, right?
They've been trying to keep everything in universe. It's like really weird how they're doing it. I think the Star Rail one was supposed to be a sort of turn-based RPG. I think was what they were suggesting, or what something suggested, and then the other one's just a more futuristic-looking action game.
Okay, everyone can wake up now. Turtles: Shredder's Revenge next week.
You know what? I was shocked.
June 16th.
When they said Game Pass, because someone on this panel was adamant that it was not coming to Game Pass. I will not mention
June 16th. By the way, I just want to put this out there. 6 people in the same room playing this game.
Dude, the 6-player looks so fucking good. God, it looks good.
Co-op. 6-player co-op going to Game Pass day one. Immediately playing this as soon as it drops.
Oh, look,
all of us.
Jeff Grubb's
online.
already playing it. Piece of shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Jeff Grubb said he's playing it. Who'd you talk to? The person I talked to said shortly before release date.
They said, "Who is this?" They said,
Yeah, DM me, Grubb. Tell me your contacts. I need a code.
Turtles is out next week. It's exciting stuff. I will be on that immediately. And good to know it's going to Game Pass, which means I can hold out for the physical copy on the Switch then. So I'll play it on Game Pass. I'll put the order in for the physical copy. And when it shows up 12 years from now, I'll have it. It's coming from Limited Run, isn't it?
No, there's other versions.
Yeah, there's other versions. Like I think Amazon has a different version.
Amazon has one. I ordered that one.
That's the one. I'll get that one.
And you get a pizza coupon with that one as well, I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
That's a trick.
It's gonna be expired when you get it though. That's the funny thing. It's actually already gonna be expired.
I am so excited. They have Casey Jones was in there. They showed that. They have all the turtles. You got Splinter April in there. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm curious how long the game is. That's the one thing, because I wonder if they're looking at you to play through it multiple times, maybe to unlock different concept art and all these different things, right? That they have in like a museum or something. But I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah, there'll be some extra crap in there.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that one. That's gonna be really cool. I think one of the highlights of the show's right there. Shredder's Revenge.
What the fuck is a Pizza Hut Express?
What?
It's a drive-through.
It's a drive-through.
It's
Pizza
just
Hut.
a drive-through. Yeah.
Humankind. That's Sean's AAA Knights game.
Yep.
That is
a lot of
consoles.
those.
Yeah, but that's the one that actually got revealed when he thought it was gonna be AAA Knights. That like legitimately was like AAA Knights, and then it was like Humankind. That's coming to consoles though. You can finally try it out, Sean.
I lost everything because my internet took a shit on itself. Did we say what a Pizza Hut Express is?
Drive-through.
Yeah. Drive-through.
Carry out only? What the fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah.
You don't go to the pizza places anyways.
Wait,
Exactly.
do you eat in it? Okay.
I wanted Grubhub to pick it up.
Yeah,
Or
they'll
Jeff
pick it up.
Grubb. Jeff Grubb, go pick up some fucking Pizza Hut Express. You can't even order online. This is ridiculous.
Do you really want Pizza Hut right now?
I like the stuffed crust.
Hold on. Can't you just buy stuffed like breadsticks? Don't they do that?
Yeah, but you
It's
can't
not-
order
it's
it
not
from
the
them.
same. It's not.
You just
And
want the
Papa
satisfaction
John's-
of cutting the rest of the pizza out and then just eating the crust.
Papa John's has stuffed crust, and it's not the same.
Yeah, Papa John's dough is always
Papa John's ass. I'm sorry.
Dude,
bothers
I
me.
remember when I moved to North Carolina, and I was in I think I was in 5th or 6th grade, and every fucking kid was like, "You ever had Papa John's? You ever had Papa John's? Papa John's is the best. You gotta have Papa John's." Like North Carolina loves Papa John's. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll try it."
Wonder why.
Yeah, racists. And
Whoa.
was like-
True. He did say the N-word. Papa John is a bit
I
of
was
an
like,
N-word.
okay, let's try it. And I tried it. I was like, this is fucking disgusting. Like, why is the sauce so sweet? Like, this is horrible.
We also had a video for One Piece Odyssey. I believe this is going to be their big shot at making a good One Piece game.
I was so excited when I saw that.
The turn-based RPG, and I think it's been better. You know,
Soul Hackers 2, that was shown. I still think Soul Hackers 2 is going to find its way into Game Pass. So
I'm
We'll see.
playing Soul. I just bought Soul Hackers 1. I'm gonna figure out what these souls are and how I have to hack them.
Metal Hellsinger, there's a demo out now. That
That
game
looks very
is
cool.
actually interesting because it's different. It's unique. It's a rhythm-based first-person shooter.
They've done those before, but this one has a lot of names behind it, and we actually got to hear the soundtrack for it from them, so that was kind of cool.
Right?
Yeah, they were just
That
like,
looked-
forget
I
the
love
streamers.
rhythm
Good
games.
luck, Twitch. And then they just started
I
playing all
know.
the music. And then
I
Metallica
know.
was like, hey, what's up? And just, Metallica was the Marvel Midnight Suns one. Go to click.
Yeah.
No, I was to say I love rhythm games, but it really sucks with all DMCA stuff going on if you actually have like tracks behind it that are gonna get striked. So, you know, rip.
Showed Nightingale. I really don't see too many people like I don't know. Nightingale's weird because they said it has the ex-BioWare boss behind it, Aaron Flint.
Yeah, but it's just another first-person survival game.
I guess that's
It was
whenever
boring as hell.
I hear survival game and I kind of do get like
They can be good, but this one does look extremely bland.
Saints Row Boss Factor demo launch now.
Hey, shout out to Saints Row, Boss Factor.
Yeah, they paid my rent.
There's Warhammer 40K Dark Tide.
I'm actually
You know,
looking
it's
forward to
Hell
that.
yeah.
That actually looks cool, but
Only in the Game Pass day one, isn't it?
I can't play a Warhammer game.
But it's
But
No, dude,
it's a
shooter.
It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You shoot stuff. It's horde mode.
So, Sean, here's the way it works. Basically, Warhammer, anybody's allowed to make a Warhammer game as long as you pay a fee. So people that are tiny, talented indie devs will sometimes just ask, the way they can get brand recognition. Their previous game, Vermintide, is a freaking masterpiece. You are going to love Dark Tide. I'm serious,
This
dude.
one expands on it. They've said that instead of you having to pick a class, you just make a character and turn it into a class. Like you kind of go a direction with it. It's kind of
It's Left 4 Dead.
I think
Dude, it's Left 4 Dead. It's great.
At the hobby store.
Yeah. It is that universe, but there's like 100 books that actually explain all these different planets and time periods. So it's
a lot
like
of
that, but
lore.
less sweaty, less butt cracks. It's great.
There's Layers of Fear. Not Silent Hill is what's written here. Not Silent Hill. Next.
Dude, it wasn't even there.
Come on, MVG. You saw that Bloober team load come and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
I was like OJ. I was asleep. I wasn't even watching the damn.
Oh man, I was watching it and I was
I
like,
freaked
this
out.
is it. This is it. It's happening.
I got it. I got it all in retrospect. I got it from y'all's videos.
Yep.
I just watched
I
Sean's
didn't even make a
video.
video on it. That show's ass. Like the Summer Games Fest is just.
It's all about.
I mean, it's just not for me. I mean, I get it. Some people are like it's just not a good show.
And there's we did see Gotham Knights as with Nightwing, and then the big one at the end.
Did you see Gotham Knights? Because I'm pretty sure I saw a CGI
CGI.
trailer.
More CGI.
We've seen Gotham Knights before, right? It's just a CG trailer. Okay. Then we had we talked about part 1 already, but they are working on a multiplayer game, and it seems to have grown larger than I guess what maybe we were expecting it to be, which was Factions. Now it looks like it's going to be its own standalone game, and
Dude, when they dropped that concept art, I was like, I was more excited about that than I was the One Piece game. And I was already soiling myself over the One Piece game.
So they had concept art, and if there's nothing else that says hurry up, grab something, we need to show anything, it's concept art. That's
I
all.
want to know what Sean's face was when he saw that concept art.
I almost fell out of my chair. And
Were the hands on head? Was it that?
Oh,
Dude,
the hands were like shoved into my eyes because I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yes. Unironically, I was so hyped. Like it's shitty. It sucks. They should have showed a screenshot or something. But man, I am so. What they said about Faction sounds fantastic.
Okay, so it does at least
Show
what
us.
they're describing sounds interesting. That it's going to be basically a story-driven multiplayer game from their perspective. I'm curious if is this going to be like their Division kind of game?
I don't think so. So there was
open world kind of thing.
there was leaked alpha footage. I saw it. There's some other leaks of. It sounds like there's costumes that people have already found in the code of Last of Us Part 2 for Ellie wearing different combat gear. So it seems like maybe Ellie, Abby, Joel will be playable in it to some degree or something. But I do think it's going to be like a big. I think it's still going to be matches, but I think maybe you'll get a chance to wander around and do more. But I don't know. I'm excited.
Okay. But I mean, that was the big reveal at the end was part 1. That was like the big thing. Apparently, Naughty Dog was working on something else. Shocker. We've heard that they're working on a new IP. So that overall was Summer Game Fest.
A waste
Thoughts?
of 2 hours. Like it literally was pointless.
And you wasted 2 hours, so we didn't have to.
I
Thank
did.
you.
Oh, that
Thank
was
you.
longer than that because then I had to go over my notes that I had because I take notes during the whole presentation, so I can talk about things in a snappy manner. Then I had to make the video on it.
You got my
Yeah.
YouTube premium. So there you go.
You know,
Such a hard worker, Sean. We need to appreciate you more.
I think what this show really is telling us is just how, like, now everything I think has caught up. I feel like we're kind of in that point in time that we figured was going to happen eventually because of all the remote work, COVID, and everything got delayed, and we knew it was like going to be something that would show up later on. I kind of feel like we're in that year right now, almost that gap year of like, all right, this is when things would have been planned to come out, but they got pushed 6 8-9 months, and now we're looking at a lot of stuff into 2023. Some of those are also announcements. So even Jeff was like, yeah, kind of a lighter year because of everything that happened.
I don't fault
also-
Jeff for the show.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
also-
Wait
Wait a minute.
a minute.
Go on, Nate, because I think
Well-
you're going to say the
Well,
right thing.
I think we're all going to say the same thing. Like the Summer Games Fest show was like the leftovers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It was the Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. They already have their stuff lined up. They're not going to give the Summer Games Fest the big announcements,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
And I think what we're trying to say is that like this is not a lock for Keighley for next year. I feel like E3, even though we're talking about the corpse of E3 today, still has a window to potentially come back next year.
I would agree.
Based on this year.
Yep.
Because I think Summer Games Fest was a miss, like in my opinion.
Yeah.
There were some cool announcements, but there was nothing compelling there. There was nothing that really made you think, wow, this is going to be even better next year. Because I don't feel like the big companies are going to want to give up their big announcements.
Right,
Simple as
right.
that.
They can roll it into E3, have their own presentations with the E3 banner, and if E3 has their own physical event next year, which is what they're planning, that's what ties it all together.
I also think this seems like the banner for the fact that I am growing to love 30-minute presentations. Like I like the 25-minute Nintendo Direct or that 30-minute State of Play we got recently. I feel like when you have to constrain yourself to a shorter time period, it's got to be more gameplay and shock and awe. Like I like the State of Plays where they show a bunch of gameplay for like Ghost of Tsushima. This felt 2 hours. This felt like 4 hours. I was bored as fuck for about 80% of
They
this.
sold IMAX tickets. This was like a movie event.
Yeah,
man.
But keep your expectations in line, guys. I'm going to say this is going to be a huge event. I'm going to say this is going to be a big thing. But keep your expectations in line now that you've already bought your IMAX tickets and you're doing your shit. Like,
Remember the Elden Ring? Remember Elden? We announced
yeah.
Elden Ring. That's what he says. Keighley, like I said, bless him. But the man is like he flip-flop McGee all before the show, like over back and forth. How are you gonna sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, this hype Summer Games is IMAX"? Hey, keep in mind expectations. And then when people start saying like, "Oh, well, now it's not gonna be very good," oh, we announced Elden Ring. It's like, dude, he flip-flops back and forth on what people are supposed to expect, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think that statement he meant to say like nothing this year could top the Elden Ring announcement, and people took it as
nothing.
We had Elden Ring last year. That's gonna be good this year. Like that's how people took it. I think he was trying to say he couldn't top Elden Ring, but I think it backfired.
Because he said interesting responses here. He made it seem as if like, oh, I might show you guys. We might have a scene. And I think what that was The Last of Us. I think that's what he was thinking would be on somewhat. Hey, we're announcing The Last of Us.
Well, can I pitch? I want to pitch something to y'all. I'm actually really curious y'all's thoughts. But I saw some people saying on Twitter that the main money maker for Keighley is the Game Awards. So what if he got some contracts and some trailers that he's purposely set aside for that? Because Game Awards revealed stuff like the Xbox Series X and stuff. I'm kind of curious if he is saving the best, and this is just a shit. This is the leftovers of the leftovers.
I think the perfect world is legitimately having a strong E3 and a strong Game Awards, and they just stay 6 months apart.
Yes. Yes.
Or but why does I mean we're just gonna get off topic here. I just don't understand why Jeff Keighley needs to be the face of video games and he has to be organizing all these events and he has to be doing all this.
To be fair,
stuff.
he actually organizes and gets it done. Whereas E3 just says, "We'll see you next year." He actually does.
He's the only one doing it.
If the end result isn't worth a damn, like what?
You want to know
was the
Keighley's
point?
backstory? I can tell you it.
I honestly, I mean, obviously,
I can tell you how he got in. There's some.
Does
key
it involve
factors how he got in.
Go ahead.
I mean, the
I would
biggest
like
key factor is his father was a huge IMAX individual. Keighley's background from family is Hollywood. He wants to pursue Hollywood. He wants to follow what his father laid the foundation to. That's Keighley's ambitions. And he has the money to do this.
On top of that, Keighley got in very early. You know, he got in with Gabe, with Steam, and interviewing when he was in college and stuff. And then he got that deal with G4 TV on the first go around. And he's good in front of the camera. He can speak well. He can organize. He's good, and he's willing to actually do it. You know, he's willing to kind of step up, and he has everything else. I'm a communication major, so I know he's very good with communication, like in front of a camera, and he's the prototypical of what you would think would be in front of you presenting this. So he hits he checks all the little boxes that people are looking for a presentation or somebody who's going to be the face of something. If
he just had
he doesn't drink coffee.
I mean, really, if he had just one big announcement at this show that was like monumental, people would be looking at the show as really good. Then it's just like that one big. If he had the Breath of the Wild 2 release date.
And I don't hate Jeff Keighley.
If he did, like something that level, he had
or
Elden
something
Ring
or a Ragnarok release date.
Exactly, something like that. That would be like,
but that was never going to happen either. Like there was talk that maybe it would be announced, but there's no way that Sony would hand that off to.
Or let's say
like The Last of Us happened because of the TV show, and that was a part of their segment was to talk about the show.
Yeah,
and that's why you had. You had Troy Baker there to say, and Ashley Williams to say, we're in the show too. That's Keighley using his Hollywood connections to make this happen and saying to Sony, I can get you a nice venue. Let's just get the release date for this. We can promote the TV program as well. That's why that type of thing happened. But you can look at just the general vicinity that this event took place. Next week, as soon as Summer Game Fest aired, what happens? Capcom comes out and says, we're having our own presentation Monday. Square Enix comes out, we're having our own presentation later next week. They didn't even view Summer Game Fest as something meaningful enough to participate in themselves. They opted to do their own thing.
But hey, but that's all under the Summer Game Fest umbrella, right?
I'm putting that logo on everything. I'm going to Twitter.
I don't hate Jeff Keighley. I obviously don't hate him, or else I wouldn't follow him or talk about him.
You still follow him.
Yeah, I mean, no. Well, maybe just to talk shit to him. Like, I don't hate the dude. I just think, a lot of the things he does, he kind of set. And I understand you have to hype your own shit, but you have to also realize that you can only burn people so many times with overdone excitement till more people start to think, well, maybe this was kind of pointless. Maybe we didn't really need something like this. Maybe we should have just let companies do their own presentations. And the whole point of E3 is when the companies do their presentations is, should they choose to, there's a show floor. So there's, demos there and stuff like that. This was essentially nothing like that, but it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be but now what you're gonna say, Jeff said he's gonna do a physical event in 2023. Must be nice, Jeffrey.
He's got to invite his good friend RGT. All right, you got to scope out the area, make sure it's up to expectations.
The thing that we see with Jeff every single presentation that he hosts, be it Summer Game Fest or the Game Awards, is his heavy reliance on Hollywood. The Rock segment was meaningless. It was terrible. It was 7 minutes of filler. Dude, the pacing of the show is again filled with fluff because he opens it strong and then he has one good end note. But everything else between is like, hey, indie developers and smaller publishers, what do you have that I can fill in this 2-hour presentation with? Because right now I have about 1:40 open. And sometimes less is more. And Jeff does not grasp that.
Hey guys, I'm The Rock. Buy my 7 flavors of brand new stupid and drinks.
Off the side shelf. He's like, hold on, what is? Oh yeah, this.
Somebody on Twitter transcribed the Rock video, and it makes no sense. It's absolute gibberish. I'm The Rock, but sometimes people call me El Fuente, and today we're going to talk about my movie with no CG. He said that. He said it's the first movie with no CG, and then they showed a purely CG trailer. What the fuck?
You know what? Do that in person event next year. Let's make it happen. In-person event. Get Sean out there. By the way, did you see they demoed Sonic Frontiers? And the game looks way more interesting, though. Like, they're doing other things, and they haven't shown any of it.
Did you see the official? Everybody's laughing about the official video. They went, here's Sonic Frontiers, and it's literally a PR guy scrolls past it about 1 second. Like, why?
They put a speedometer in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Very weird.
Sonic Frontiers might be one of the greatest releases that ever happens.
They're gonna teach about it in class how not to market a game.
Dude, it's amazing. A speedometer. Oh,
I wish I could have. I wish I could have flown in for one day to play those demos, because honestly, that Street Fighter 6 demo, people look like they're having a fucking blast with it.
Jeff, get us out there, Jeff.
Yeah,
next year. And we have Discord questions left.
Oh yeah, we got 3. This one
Okay.
probably would have
Go
been
through
better
those.
earlier for the joke of it. Will Sony remake The Last of Us Part 2 next?
Yes.
Maybe PS6 probably. I wouldn't be shocked.
Eventually, they probably will.
Yeah, but next, like just right away.
Oh, like the next one.
Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
on it.
Oh.
Kotaku had an article this week about people speculating off of Phil Spencer's game history and achievements. How many trophies total do you think Jim Ryan has?
2.
I don't care.
Does Jumping Flash have trophies on the PS1 version?
It does.
Did you see him wearing a headset?
It's his favorite game.
You see what he looks like wearing a headset, Jim Ryan, when he was talking to the
Yeah.
camera?
Probably
He looks a
platinum, that
million
shit.
He
years old.
probably has like 1,000 platinum trophies. You saw him.
And then what's the best Bluetooth Dreamcast controller option / substitute for playing Dreamcast games on an NVIDIA Shield /
Wow.
Retro
What the
Die?
Fuck, man.
I use the
Very
adapters.
specific.
I use that
Shield.
somebody made a controller that's like, I think it's called the next gen Dreamcast controller, and it basically makes it like an Xbox controller but with a VMU slot. Yes, the Retro Fighters, exactly.
Yeah.
That thing is fantastic, super good, and I think there's a Bluetooth adapter so you can plug it into your PC.
Let me go to these. Finish up with the super chats here as we go around. This is from M saying, "What's stopping Nintendo from bringing Mario RPG to Switch? Also, if they were to make a new one, who would you like to help make it?"
Oh, Square.
Square would make it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should be able to get Mario RPG on the Switch. Maybe that's just
They can't. They got to do the
lineup.
Kirby special editions.
Yes,
The
they did.
three
RPG.
Kirby SPs.
Yes,
On the Wii U, get that on the Wii U right now.
Paying money for the service, by the way.
Kiki Gaming Family says, much like Mario Strikers would be a fun day on Twitter if Shredder's Revenge was only 6 players across 4 consoles. V2, V1, V2, V1. Don says, I don't understand how you can get 12 players in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online, but you can't get 8 players online as Strikers.
Damn.
It's even more ironic. You can do 8 players in Switch Sports Soccer.
Can you?
Yes.
But no, we couldn't.
We
get
didn't
that.
have any. I think we only had 4 who actually had the game. So we didn't try any more than 4.
No, I
We
think the
only had-
lobby. No, the lobby system is like you can't do it where we're all 4 on the same team, right?
I think there were 2 games that allowed 8-player lobby. I think it was bowling and soccer.
Yeah, not soccer though.
I know bowling, you can do a lot of people.
Yeah, bowling you can do a lot.
16.
Robin says, do you think inflation will affect the price of video games like it has everything else? And could we get game prices pushed near $100 as well as console prices? How much is it in Canada now with like the $70?
Well,
I thought it was still like 95.
It's pretty high. It's
thought
pretty
they're-
expensive. Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Australia's like 110, 120.
I mean, that's
Jesus.
interesting to think about, though. You never know. I mean, next gen, so you might.
I
look
think
greedy.
whenever money stabilizes, I think maybe they'll jump it again if they
Or
can.
you'll just get more downloadable content and more microtransaction stuff to balance it out. One or the other will probably happen.
Or you'll get both. Like
Yeah, you're right.
Loot boxes, cosmetics.
Paulie
Fuck video
says,
games.
Striker DLC behind expansion pack paywall.
No.
they'll just
They'll just release it.
they'll just release it like they've done other sports games. Rand says, how bad are Sony in the red? Because the only reason for bringing in Last of Us 1 for a 3rd time in 10 years because PS5 sales are worse than we thought. That's because they have a show coming out.
What?
What?
easy money.
Where does
That man's right. That guy's just making shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just making stuff up. Like,
Big in the red. Sony.
That guy is just being like, I bet they suck because I hate myself and my father won't hug me.
They have
Where did he get all this information from?
they basically create a PS5 on the factory line and then just immediately sells. So
Sony's in the red. There's this all this. They're not
Now
Sony. There's this
Now that Sony's dead.
Left says Mario Strikers don't give you enough points to buy the equipment on single and multiplayer. You get like 100. Wait, we're getting 50
you get
or
like
100?
You get or the single player. If you play
Yeah.
1,000, you get 400 coins per.
Yeah.
We played like
it-
online.
It goes up to 1,000 when you get to the next tier.
There you go. Yep.
It gives you enough, and they're only 100. They're like 100 a pop for like the regular
The
gears. So.
second tier armor, the one you unlock, is 400 per.
Yosemite says, let's not get twisted. Xbox Live launched with better online than the Switch. That was nearly 20 years ago. Better Nintendo. Cult of RGT.
Thank you, my brethren.
What? Christopher says, my sleeper hit so far for me has been that indie title that starts with different gameplays in a coloring book and then jumps off page and onto a 3D desk. I want to mention this just very quickly. Very quickly, this one. Plucky Squire.
Yeah,
Plucky Squire.
fucking awesome.
This game looks crazy. And do you know who's developing it?
Who?
The studio was formed by the person who left Game Freak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just popped up and I was like...
Well, the artist guy, the James dude?
That's the studio he formed with someone else.
There's a Game Freak artist who knows how to make a game that looks like it belongs in the current generation.
They've been creating games for a long time with Game Freak back to like Black and White, but even before then. So like a lot of experience there, but went off, created this studio, and now they made Plucky Squire, and this game looks like incredible. I was not expecting that. I think that in Skate Story, those are the highlights of the
Skate Story looks dope.
Digital presentation, but I think everyone needs to check this Plucky Squire game out. It is like something special. It is really cool.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on this one. It's not out till next year, but it starts out where you're on the page of the storybook, and I thought that was the entire game, but then they jump out of the storybook onto the table and it becomes a completely different art style, 3D action adventure, and then they jump onto other surfaces that are like a coffee mug. You're like running around that, and they have another storybook you get into. It's pretty cool.
Even on the storybook, it had a bunch of things. It had like a punch out mini game thing.
That looked really cool.
Yeah.
That punch out thing.
Yeah, that game came out of nowhere, but definitely people need to be checking that one out.
Cool. I like Punch Out. So
yeah, check out the trailer. Looks good. Let me go around here as I'm finishing up with some of these super chats. I'll double check the Streamlabs as well. I'm gonna go to OJ. Where can everyone find you?
Right here on YouTube. Put up a video on Mario Strikers. You want to hear my thoughts? Also got some Demon Slayer Switch stuff that's going to be happening pretty soon here on the channel. And I stream daily as well, pretty much 6 days out of the week. And I do a lot of RPG content, so we're getting into more Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So it should be a lot of fun. And Xenoblade, I do a lot of Xenoblade content. So if you're into all that, subscribe to the channel, peeps.
Did you get the collector's edition?
Of what?
Xeno 3.
No, but Nintendo will probably send.
Must be nice.
They've sent me one for every special edition, with the exception of X. They sent me Definitive Edition. They sent me, they sent me all the other ones.
They send me mean emails.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's even more rare. That's more of a collector's edition.
I mean,
frame that. I go to MVG.
Thanks for having me on. You can find me at Twitter at Modern Vintage G and on YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. Monday's video, I'm doing a deep dive on that Quake for Game Boy Advance. So I talked to the developer this weekend, got a whole bunch of really cool info, and going to be showing off some never seen before footage as well. So check out the channel. It's going to be a hype video. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I saw that pop up. I was like, there was Quake on the Game Boy Advance.
Dude, it's amazing.
There's like a build out there you can download and try it on the EverDrive. Is that that's a thing?
There is. But I'm going to be showing something else. On my
all right. I'm watching the hell out of that.
Sage 3D demo.
The what now?
Sage 3D demo. Is that what you're showing?
No. Sage 3D.
I'm looking at new 3D GBA engine video.
Let's see. They have over on Super Chats, anime saying Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Champions. An anime soccer game plays better and has better online than Mario Strikers Battle League. I have not played Captain Tsubasa. I've seen it.
I've played it, and
I've not played it.
There's some aspects, but no, Strikers is a better game, but it has good online play. But Strikers just feels better to play overall. But no, it's a cool game though. It's a cool little game.
Okay. Tijo says, I think even Reggie's book talks about the online. I believe Nintendo Japan was really resistant to the idea of having online networks like Nintendo WFC. They were basically forced to invest in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go back to the quote with Iwata, he said that he felt that people don't want online. People want more local. So that's a quote from them directly, from Iwata directly in the GameCube days. Although they still put in a broadband adapter to where you could play something, but it wasn't a focus,
Right. Yosemite says, why are we paying for Switch Online then? I mean, you get like the Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it. You can not pay for it if you don't. I mean, that's an option.
Sure.
Like if you don't want Last of Us, like if you think it's too expensive, you can not buy it. You know, that's an option.
It's from Don saying Last of Us Part 1 gets away with charging more for a remake while cutting content. Only Sony gets that kind of pass. Let me think.
Pass? I mean, I feel like there's enough discussion around it.
For $70, yeah, because they're the only ones charging $70 so far for like first party perspective.
This is why it's opinions. Like I hate when people say pass and not, it's opinions. There's people that are gonna want it. Let people stop pocket watching everybody. If people want to buy it, let them spend their own money to buy it. If they don't, then don't. Who cares about what somebody else buying? Like the price. If you think it's too expensive, then don't buy it. Keep it moving. Play something else. Like, this pocket watching online is just too much. Like, let people spend what they want to spend on. Ugh.
Jared says, "What is the best Mario sports game on the Switch?"
Mario Golf 64.
That's mini golf.
You know what? There you
know
go.
what?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
man,
not joking. That's
You
awesome.
might be
Yikes.
right. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you might be right. I cannot believe this.
Yikes.
Aces for the aces, tennis aces.
Aces is pretty fun.
If I had to remove the N64 online from the discussion, like actual like retail releases that have happened, it might be Aces.
Right now, I mean,
Yeah.
Strikers could get to that point after a while because Aces launched in a similar situation, you know. So
Yeah, it might be
but
Aces.
I like soccer more. Like I just like soccer more than I like tennis. So
It might be Aces. Let me go to Miss Click. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me and Tack. He's past that right now. You can find me on Twitch almost every day at twitch.tv/missclick_live, or you can find me here on YouTube at Missclick Gaming. Other than that, you can find me on social media as just Missclick. We are still in the process of playing through Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So it's not a game I wanted to play, but I'm playing it because that's what I'm doing. So yeah, it's been fun. And then obviously we've been playing Mario Strikers, and other than that, just hanging out and chatting. So thanks for having me.
Jordan Fringe. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me on my channel, Jordan Fringe. I'm posting 2 videos a week now, so want to check that out if you're interested. Thanks for having me on.
We got Sean. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on RGT85. We'll talk about Xbox's thing tomorrow after it happens, and I take my notes. So yeah.
What about Max, Dreamcast guy?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. I'm going to be talking about the Xbox conference tomorrow, but even more hyped, there's the Capcom showcase on Monday. And you guys know I'm obsessed with Resident Evil. Sounds like we're probably going to get the Resident Evil PlayStation 5 next gen patches and stuff. So I'm going to be doing videos about all that. So go check it out.
On says MVG and others try to justify cutting multiplayer out of a remake and charging $70 while complaining about lack of content in a new Halo game. Double standards. See, I knew it. I knew MVG was covering up with all those Xbox systems. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
I love MVG's confusion. Like, the fuck?
Yep, sir.
He's taking pictures of all his Xbox consoles secretly. He just hates all of them.
Smash. It's like, someday I'll
Just mad
smash you.
setting them up. Hill says, "You guys rock, Cowabunga." Nassen says, "With the rumored release of GoldenEye 64, what should we expect from the multiplayer? Full lobbies, different playlist. Also, will it have SBMM?"
Skill-based matchmaking, right?
Oh, good point. I
Yeah,
think
no way.
there's going to be, so you're going to have 4-on-4 combat, but only allowed to go in with 2 people, and the other 2 have to be bots.
Yeah.
That's how it works. No, I'd love to see matchmaking with ranking system and all of that. But I also realize I'm asking for all the cool stuff to happen.
I mean, it entirely depends
Probably
on the
won't.
form that the game comes out on.
That's true.
If you just get the let's say NSO gets the N64 game, then it's just going to be the standard GoldenEye you played on.
Here's
Nintendo
my
64.
favorite part about this, Nate. We just talked about Nintendo with their 2v2 thing with, 8 players or former. We would then be playing GoldenEye, a game that you would still be able to screen look online.
Yep.
That is incredible. This is from V2 saying, "I just got my Steam Deck. I started with Bionic Commando Rearmed, Midnight Fight Express, the demo, and Metal Gear Rising. MU Deck is next."
Love the Steam Deck.
Dial Up Chronicles says, "When will we finally go back to playing games using dial-up. You can kind of do it now if you set it up right with like a Dreamcast. Geeky Gaming Fun says limited run game said TMNT is shipping by August. There we go.
That's funny.
August what? 2023.
Yeah, right.
This is Khalil says hello Spawncast. Glad everybody is here. Also, who is the rapper on the right? Is that 25 Cent? Spyro says, Nate, what are your thoughts on Waltz?
Oh, Walt's roast beef.
Oh,
It's a local food chain. They have good fries. Sandwiches aren't bad if you're in the mood for a roast beef.
So a roast beef
I
place
love
has
Walt
good
Whitman.
fries and okay
Making
sandwiches.
me so hungry right now.
I know, I'm hungry.
Hate Walt Whitman.
Actually hungry.
What's wrong with Walt Whitman?
I hate you, Walt freaking Whitman.
Steven says, as now set themselves up for a lawsuit of factions as PS5 only. Part 1 has no plausible reason to be locked on PS5, which I'm furious over. Yeah, there's probably no lawsuit if they just do factions PS5 only. At this point, I don't even know if it's come out in 2023, so I assume it's just PS5. Tibbs says, in my opinion, the way Sega has decided to show Sonic Frontiers was bad. It's bizarre to do such a segmented gameplay reveal. It's an even worse idea for a Sonic game. Sonic already has a reputation issue, and hyperbole drives the internet.
People think I'm joking. I could fix Sega. I could do it, man.
They've done a really bad job, Mark.
You'd get bored. Let's face it. They'd put you in charge, and a week later, be like, man, fuck this thing.
Nah, just hit, put me as an advisor. Like, hey, we're thinking of doing this.
Unpaid.
Can we do this? Probably not, motherfucker.
Max, where can everyone find you, Max?
Right, I did my outro.
They do. Okay. What about Nate? Where's Nate? Nate.
People can find me on YouTube at Nate the Hate MVG, and I have the podcast up right now about our Xbox predictions. Next week will be a fun week. You have the Capcom event, you have the Square Enix event. Both are something that you should watch.
Whoa, wait a minute. You said you gotta watch those? Hold on.
I would check them out.
Well, Capcom's gonna have RE4 there.
Yeah, so
So that's worth it. Yeah, gotta watch that. Square is
more.
interesting. Oh, wait, and more.
Yeah,
hold
it's
on.
10
Wait a minute. What? You said more?
Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, wait a
Mega
minute.
Man Legends. He called it. Nate called it. Mega Man
Oh,
Legends.
here we go.
Here we go. Mega
I
Man
did not
Legends.
say anything about Mega Man.
You did. No, you told me. You told me.
That is a lie.
No, it's
Write
not
the
a lie.
article.
You told me.
Get the article.
You told me. Hey
I have a
guys,
question.
Nate says Mega Man Legends, and MVG also said it too on the
I
Nate.
didn't
And he
say
said,
it, but
MVG said banjo.
What did MVG
I didn't
say?
say it, but what I want to ask Nate a question. When is the next
No.
direct?
Not next week.
I win again.
I'll have to do some proper investigations.
Oh,
Shut
really?
up, MVG.
Mega
Proper
Man Legends 3.
investigation.
Go back
heard
to
it here
hunting.
first. Reddit,
Jesus.
Neo, what's it called? Reset era. You heard it here first. Mega Man Legends 3.
There is
It's what?
no Mega
It's
Man
like
at the
it's the
Capcom
15th
event.
plus a week. There you go.
I really have to
No,
make
another
we need
week.
to wrap
There
this
is no
up.
Mega Man at the Capcom.
Another week.
Mega Man Legends 3.
No.
Matthew says 8 players and strikers will require voice chat. Oh, yeah. Ashoka says the only girl I simp for is RGT85.
Thank you.
Same.
Dwan Davis says, hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up, OJ? I do got a question about Mario Strikers. Do you think just did my Bayonetta in the game to play soccer? Will Bayonetta go in the game?
Yes.
Oh,
Like a
Yes.
guest character. I like the idea,
It's not Smash.
Dwan Davis, about guest characters. That is a great idea from outside of the Mario universe.
well, yeah, for sure, but
Sure.
they obviously don't understand that.
It
because
says
you get
E10
Toda.
plus on the front. Okay. So it's already like after 8 o'clock for that E10 plus. Bayonetta can be in the game. Absolutely.
And that is not going to be in the game.
I have to pee. Wrap it up.
Yeah, right, same.
What about Evan?
Find me on Twitter, Kimmerix Project. If I'm streaming or anything, just check out there. I have a weird schedule this week for some of the stuff I'm working on. Got a lot of random crap I gotta get working on here.
Okay. And then there's Rich says, y'all got to come to Rhode Island Comic-Con. Can be the grand reveal of Nate. Go to him instead of him coming to you. Mr. Stud Muffin says, had the privilege of seeing Summer Game Fest in an IMAX theater. Times Square 1 to be exact. Can't be disappointed if you weren't expecting anything in the first place. The Goat Simulator 3 got hilarious reactions at the theater, though.
I hope
Man,
you're
Sean,
high.
you are like completely behind on Goat Simulator, dude.
Fuck
Jeez.
go. No, you know what? It's a meme game. It's a meme game that people like to talk about, but nobody actually fucking plays it, except for no disrespect, but like Twitch people.
Nick says, what are your thoughts on the idea of
Damn,
Xbox
man.
announcing Game Pass integration into Steam, thus coming natively to Steam Deck? Valve has
It's
expressed
my
openness to the idea, and Phil has said he wants to put it everywhere he can. Seems to be a win-win. I think they should absolutely put Game Pass there. That'd be great. Hip says, anyone catch the OTK Games Expo? Wasn't terrible. Pretty funny.
I watched it. It was pretty funny.
Mr. Stud Muffin says, Neon White looks fun. Gave me Hades vibes with the character, sprite, conversations, and witty banter. Can't wait. There we go. And I think that is everything. Let me make sure Mr. Davis was the last one here. I got everyone's outro. We are good to go. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of stuff to talk about apparently because Nate's calling out Capcom, Square, and then we got the showcase. So make sure you guys come by then. I will see you next weekend.
Let's go,
Watching
Banjo.
the wholesome game show.
Do research.